to another episode of the Richard Lewis Show. Yes, I know the timing is all fucked up if you're watching it live. It's too early for the UK. It's too late for the US. God knows what the Euros are going to do, Sam. Are they going to, have to digest this show over their breakfast? What an indignity for everybody. But yes, we fit the shows in when we can do them, and we're only able to do them because of sponsorship, and that brings us to rivalry.gg. And we should say as well, if you're going to go over to the website and support the show and support Rivalry, our sponsors, you should go to rivalry.gg/RLS. I haven't been saying that apparently on the other plugs.
Yeah,
so
that's why that is literally how they realize how good we are. And you're just don't worry about that link that lets them know you went from us. Nah.
Well, yeah, I don't think about that. I assumed, it would just all be okay. I don't do sponsorships. You know this. I've never shilled. So I'm not that good at it.
Not for your benefit. Shill many a time on a broadcast. None of it goes.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've shilled for huge networks that don't need me to shill for them, but I do anyway. I've never shilled for myself. I've never sung for my supper. So, there we go. Go over to rivalry.gg/RLS, and you can earn up to $350 in VIP bonuses, which would be nice. So look, the song that we opened up the show to was called American Dream. I'm just going to pour a big whiskey down. And there's as everything we do, there is a theme, there is a plan, there is a script to the show. And we're going to be talking not about how great America is. I think that goes without saying, right, that America is great. I love America. Sam, you've been out in America a lot now.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, right?
Not bad.
Especially in a state like Nevada. Just anything on tap, 24 hours a day.
We disagree on this.
Okay, go on.
You somehow just think it's great. You are in love with the idea that it's great that it is a desert hellhole. Look, nobody wants to live here, so there's hardly anyone here. We can do what we want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking brilliant.
It's not great.
That's what I like.
It ain't great. You could do with some wike.
I could do with some water.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
some
fine.
Moisture, some grass.
No, I like it out here.
Maybe a fucking bunny rabbit or two instead of snakes and scorpions. I don't.
All right.
I like happy animals in my country.
Haven't you seen the 1972 horror movie Night of the Lepers?
No, but I feel like I could definitely fuck up whatever bunny rabbit was coming.
Oh, here we go again. Always with the fucking...
Mate, as if. How big would a bunny rabbit have to be for you to lose a fight to it?
Right, well, while I do the intro, Sam, why don't you look up the 1972 horror movie Night of the Lepers? I think Janet Leigh's in it.
Lepers.
Yeah, the lady who was in Psycho. You can look that up.
Yeah. This is it. I don't. Oh yeah.
And you can have a look at the
these
size
are pretty
of the
big bunnies.
Yeah,
these bunnies would fuck me up. Fair play.
You ain't fucking.
Well, I didn't know we were talking about fucking mutant shit. I didn't know we were going deep.
Well,
I thought natural born rabbits.
You said no bunny.
Yeah, no naturally born bunny on this earth. Bring me a bunny and I'll fight there. If you bring me Night of the Lepers, I'll have a go. But I don't reckon you'll be able to find him.
So, look, we'll get into the show. If we can just not talk about you fighting rabbits.
I'm just looking at all these mini sets they made for the rabbits.
Oh, it's terrible.
Make them look big.
It's a terrible movie.
I wouldn't call it terrible.
It's really terrible. So yeah, you should go check it out. But apparently Red Letter Media, who I love, have done a video on it. I haven't seen that. So, but there's
that's how the rabbits look when they're being walked down the street. Mini lampposts.
But let's talk a little bit. Obviously, I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, is this the show where Richard Lewis is going to unload on Riot Games?" Because I talked on a previous shows, and I've been saying this for a while, that there would be this period where NDAs would start dropping off, and ex-Riot employees would be empowered now to speak about some of the practices and things that are going on within Riot Games as a company, without any reprisals. And by the way, I remember when this came up, when everyone was saying, "Oh, it's totally fine that independent Reddit moderators have signed NDAs with a company." As it turns out, Reddit have no issue with you entering into that kind of contract with anyone else. And I saw a few lawyers, people who create NDAs for a living for companies for money were going, "Yeah, NDAs are great." NDAs are not fucking great. You know, they're a piece of the legislation that legislature, I should say, that masquerades as being protective. But basically, what this has enabled Riot to do is kind of hold the threat of legal action over the head of whistleblowers and people that maybe object to, I don't know, mass rampant sexism within a company. Here's the thing. A few people tweeted at me going, you're just so biased against Riot. The only way you would ever recognize sexism as existing within the games industry is if Riot was guilty of it. And that's not true. Sexism exists in many places. While you're up, you can get those beers if you want, Sam. Well, I have a feel how cold they are. Sorry, before we come on the show, there was warm beers, like the Tom Waits song, Warm Beer, Cold Women. And I put some in the freezer to give them a super chill because I want to have a drink. But anyway, there's this chilling effect. You prevent people, talking about things like rampant sexism within the company. And obviously, this is a bad thing. I don't think anybody should feel threatened for not being able to talk about this. Equally, I don't think it's an indictment on the gaming industry as a whole. When you talk about a specific company and their culture, we're not talking about the games industry as a whole. I think it's massively overplayed how sexist gamers are. I think it's become a very boring trope, but it isn't the same to say all people who play video games are misogynists to here is a company where we interviewed 28 employees of that company and all of these people said, yes, there is rampant sexism going on there. So I'm going to do a separate video on the Kotaku article, and I'm going to preface it by saying, look, it is a Kotaku article. We know that the only way you can get Kotaku to turn over stones is if it suits their agenda in the first place. I think that's fair comment. I say that even being an associate of Stephen Totillo, and I've said before, I have no beef with the man. He just knows his audience. And also, as well, I think it's worth noting, and I'll be sure to bring this up in the video. Bottle opener's already over here, mate. I came ahead of schedule. And I'll say this in the video, but just to preface it as well, the writer, the author, Cecilia D'Agostino, I think her name is, she fucked up pretty much in the same day within esports. Basically, cheers, Drive. Basically committing an act of libel against XQC, where she accused him of calling somebody the F word as a pejorative when he actually never did that, and then had to correct it and play it down and say, we meant somebody else, which of course isn't cool. So look, I'll definitely talk about it. It's a big deal, but I think the key thing here is this isn't even the tip of the iceberg with Riot Games. I was amazed. I scanned that story, and there was like one or two in there that I was aware of, and I knew exactly who they were. And there was some in there that I felt, kind of like the Me Too movement suddenly got conflated with, like, it was people who've been raped and sexually assaulted, and then suddenly there was a bunch of people going, yeah, and Morgan Freeman made this joke, and I was like, what? That's Me Too now? Like, nah, that's not what the Me Too movement is for. This is an example of sort of when virtue signaling do-gooders actually detract from a worthwhile movement by trying to attach bullshit to it. And I think there were some examples of that in an article, a subsequent blog that came out where it was like, I overheard some unpleasant language in the office, which is certainly unprofessional, but it isn't the same as rampant sexism, is it? The things that I want to come out, and certainly hope there's going to be some journalists and some employees that talk about it now, are the stuff that we all know got covered up, that the moderators helped cover up. The independent moderators over at Reddit that definitely have no ties to Riot, wink, wink. The stuff about Riot Light, who by allegedly, according to reports that came out from women who've been in relationships with him, kind of sounded like a serial abuser. Kind of weird, that. Kind of weird, because he was the guy who came up with the whole idea of using a video game to make us all better people. It's almost as if there's some sort of, I don't know, trend, isn't there? Where people want to control everyone else's behavior and say, hey, I'm a great person. Actually, they're the cunts with skeletons in the closet. They're the sick ones. They're the demented pieces of shit. Allegedly, reportedly, purportedly, reputedly. Absolute nonsense, isn't it? I want that to come out. I want the women who told me about Riot executives telling them how to dress and saying they should show more skin. I want those people to come forward. I want the women who were asked repeatedly for back rubs and blowjobs at Riot Games event to be interviewed and come out. Because these are all far greater transgressions than almost anything in that article. And this is real. This bro culture, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's real and it's fucking disgusting. And it was going on exclusively pretty much at this company. Some of the worst shit I've ever heard, actually. So I want that to come out. I'm confident it will. But it's not my story to tell. I can't tell you these things. I was told them secondhand. I was told them in confidence. I can't even tell you how credible they are. But trust me, okay, I told you about this 2 fucking years ago. 2 fucking years ago. Oh, but Richard, you're so biased against Riot. You're so biased. You're so biased. Yeah, but I've always been right. So what does that tell you? Maybe I know something you cunts don't. Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think people maybe tell me shit? Nah, you couldn't possibly be that. You're just biased because you don't like them for whatever reason. No. If I was biased, why was I right all the time? And I told you about this 2 years ago on my podcasts and my shows. I couldn't write the article down. I couldn't write the article Kotaku wrote, because if I did that, what would happen? It would, first of all, not be allowed on the subreddit, rendering the impact of it completely meaningless, because Riot had sealed that avenue, hadn't they? Good on them. And second of all the plebs that, despite me having this immaculate record and exposing stuff about Riot sometimes years before it would come out as being true, people would say, oh, he's biased, he just hates Riot. He just hates Riot Games. And people would dismiss it. And it's not fair to the victims of that kind of sexism, is it? To attach my name to it in a sort of act of do-goodery when it would actually diminish their recourse. So we've had to sit here and wait, knowing it was true, okay, until NDAs drop off. NDAs put in place by Riot Games for this express purpose to silence victims of sexual misconduct and workplace harassment. That is why the NDAs exist. If you ever talk about it, we sue you. You know, we've had to sit here and wait, and it took Kotaku, of all publications, to put this shit out there. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. But when I'm ready, I'm going to sit and wait. Because I've got a sneaking suspicion some of the shit that I'm alluding to here is going to come out in the next day or two. And then I'm going to, it's going to take more than a fucking mealy-mouthed statement to ESPN then, my friends. I would also say, hey, women who've worked at Riot, you should definitely put your heads together, and maybe some sort of class action could be appropriate. Just my opinion. Not a lawyer. But if you can prove, and certainly it seems with 28 sources, including male employees, current employees, and ex-employees, that there was some sort of systemic sexism in place at the company, I don't know. I'd lawyer the fuck up about that. Please, I'll come to court. I'll testify. Yes, testify. I will testify. Riot Games have been a fucking predator posing as a house pet in the landscape of esports and gaming for years, and almost everything they've done has been solely to benefit themselves at the expense of others. And if you've ever wondered why I had just a teeny weeny issue with the existence of Riot Games, it's because of shit like this, which was pretty much an open secret. Y'all didn't want to listen. I hope you're going to now. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. We'll definitely talk about that later. But not in this show. Because instead what we're going to do is we're going to do our routine, Sam. We're going to do our little singing and dancing routine that we do.
I wasn't aware we had a routine.
We do, mate. We do.
What's our routine?
Well, let's start with catchphrases, eh? Right. Didn't happen. Yeah, we love a bit of didn't happen. We haven't done didn't happen. Well, now that we're up in the production value, we should really get like a little didn't happen.
Here we go. This can't be. You're becoming like every Reddit commenter I hate. Can you up the production value? Just watch. It's fine, mate. We're good.
Why would you not?
I don't know.
Why would you not want the production
I probably
value?
am wrong about this, but I've always hate, even before I was producer, I just hate the little bells and whistles people put on everything. It does my head in. That's why I started it in esports. No, when I always had that holographic shit, and now we got to have these mad transitions between every camera. Like, come on, I just want to see the games. I like it basic. Man.
Yeah, but this isn't a game.
Nah, this is even simpler. Exactly.
This is me talking into a camera. There has to be
Exactly.
more. There must be more to it than this.
Nah, man.
There must be.
Look at the leaders who do it, mate. Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Has he got any thing?
Well,
He
but
hasn't
that's what I
had-
mean. Until we get this 3 camera setup, we're gonna do.
Well, you need more than one person on the show to do that. Well, 2. I talk a bit, but I'm not an interview guest, quite.
Yeah, well, the way I originally envisioned it was you were going to be sat there.
Yeah, the table wasn't big enough.
Yeah. Well, you've got too many buttons to press. What we need to do is we need to get you a producer. That's the
this
next
chain
level.
just never ends.
Yeah, and then when they find that
they need a
and then they
producer.
get a producer for them, and then we'll just do it like that. But anyway, so look, catchphrases didn't happen. I'm just saying, just if a little thing like the Tariq Nasheed thing just came up, and it was just you going, didn't happen, didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't want to become the fucking, what's that, extras, but I don't want to become Ricky Gervais in extras, where it's say the phrase, yeah, it didn't happen, yeah. So
When
it
the
didn't
whistle
happen,
blows,
are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?
are you having a laugh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Well, that's where we're at right now, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, we kind of embraced that once we printed up the T-shirts.
No, yeah.
Like it was over at that point. Like any pushback on it, I want to be a serious artist and not say the word. Once you put it on a fucking T-shirt,
I don't want to be a
Sam,
catchphrase comic. Somewhere in between.
once you put it on the T-shirts, it's game fucking over, dude.
Well,
like you
time to
can't
make some
argue
new
about
T-shirts.
it. Yeah, it is actually. I thought we had one. We've been
we do.
threatening to launch it.
Yeah, we do. Just ain't done it. Man.
Yeah, so let's do it then.
I'll have to get Chloe to send it to me again. I haven't asked.
Right, let's get that done. Let's get the grow the
Can't
fuck
remember
up
what-
T-shirt.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
can't remember what T-shirt it is anymore.
Yeah, let's get the grow the fuck up T-shirts done. Finally,
No,
That's what we need.
catchphrase.
I wouldn't care as well. Like, I fucking there was an. I'm just terrible with the money emails. It's like I don't want to make money, but I know I do. But like, we had an email from Designed by Humans, and they were like, "Hey, sales good. Do you want to, expand your range? So you don't plateau out." That was like months ago when I was
Ignored, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah. Just ignored. Didn't do it. So we should do that. But yeah, we definitely need a new T-shirt. I think. Anyway, so here's the catchphrase: "Didn't happen." Right. I can't believe it's 2018, current year, etc., etc. Leftist late night show nonsense, and we're still faking hate crimes. I really thought we would have grown out of this by now. I really thought people would realize that actually there is a much more skeptical climate now because there have been so many hate crimes that have been faked. Whether it's people saying, "Oh, I was attacked by the nasty Nazi and he ripped off my hijab," didn't happen. Or, "Look at all these swastikas being sprayed everywhere," done by an Israeli man. Look at the bomb threats being called into Jewish centers. Is this because of Trump, the biggest friend to Israel that of any American president? No, it's not, funnily enough. It was another sick person. Also from Israel themselves. We've seen so many of these, and it just stretches credulity. Now, when I see one doing the rounds in the mainstream media, it's just like, here we go again. Here we go again. It only ends one way, and lo and behold, it happened. I think it was the Washington Post that reported on it, like just on their Twitter feed, just as a matter of course. And you can see it here. It was basically a waiter whose name was Khalil. And what had happened was that he claimed someone had come into a store, got the receipt, saw the name Khalil, drew a circle round it, and wrote, "We don't tip terrorists," on the receipt. Simply never going. Like, it's already nonsense. Who would ever do that? Like, it's just gibberish. But then this was just reported as a matter of fact, and it happened in Odessa, Texas. So I guess people were like, those Southerners, when they're gonna learn? First slavery, now this, And it was nonsense. He wrote it himself. And he had to come out and confess because loads of people started saying, hang on a fucking minute. And, of course, the people whose receipt it was, even with all the stuff redacted, were kind of piping up going, nah, I don't like this because if somebody thinks it was actually me, this kind of thing gets you killed in modern America with the activists being completely out of control on both sides. So, yeah, he had to admit that he said, I did write it, said Khalil Kavil, which is a great name, I think, actually. 20 years old. I don't have an explanation, he said. I made a mistake. Now, I'm going to tell you something here, Khalil, a little bit of advice. Hopefully you come across this podcast.
Unlikely.
Here's a mistake. Not unlikely. Not unlikely. Somebody can, tweet it at him, maybe. This is good advice. A mistake is spilling a drink. A mistake is you reach into a drawer with your eyes closed and you pull out a pair of socks and you put them on and you realize they don't match later on in the day. That's a mistake. Can you think of other examples of mistakes, Sam? Like
shitting yourself? That's a classic whoopsie, man. Whoops. Shit myself. God.
I mean, I suppose you're right. I suppose it is a mistake, right? I mean, I didn't want to do it. You could have said sharting. I'm not saying you would ever intentionally shit yourself, but I think a shart is clearly more of a mistake. You pushed and...
Well, who sits and go like, you tell you what, I'm just going to have shit.
No, but I mean, like, if you were ill...
What, you just sit... You've been at a point of illness where you just go, you know what?
You remember the shower curtain, Sam?
Yeah, well...
There you go.
I don't...
It wasn't a mistake when I was shitting myself. It was a vile necessity. It wasn't a mistake. It was very much what had to happen to get the evil out of my body. So that was... I
could have done it while you were sitting on a toilet.
There was no way I could move, Sam. It was impossible. It was a physical impossibility. So we had to take the next best thing, which was the shower curtain option. But anyway, yeah, shart for me is a mistake. But there you go. So this isn't a mistake, and I think the sooner you kind of lean into what you did and why, the better you're going to feel about everything. You're gonna have a much happier time. You're gonna have a much happier existence. Because here's why you did it. You didn't make a mistake. You made a carefully constructed and crafted, malicious action to gain sympathy and to also, once again, which is why it was embraced by the mainstream media, try and portray the average American as some sort of sickening racist, which absolutely isn't true. I say this is an immigrant in this country, by the way. And a lot of people go, oh, it doesn't count because you're white. And a lot of people say it doesn't count because you're English. Like, yeah, I don't know. If you had cause to hate anybody, the English would be right up there.
Yeah.
Right? So, never had any problems. In fact, I always found Americans to be very friendly, very nice. I'm not saying racists don't exist, because unfortunately they do. I'm not saying xenophobes don't exist, because unfortunately they do. But the idea that the world's great melting pot that is America is actually one of the most racist places on planet Earth is absurd.
Yeah, exactly.
And it remains an absurd premise.
Or even the overwhelming majority they'd have you believe. Like, if you read social media, you will guarantee believe that the overwhelming majority of people you will meet in America are just racist or otherwise unreasonable.
Yeah.
When they're not.
Who
would have known?
And this is what I mean. Clearly, this individual wanted the attention that comes with, again, this absurd fetishization of victim status that we have now in kind of this new generation that's coming through. Where actually the worst thing you could be, and, I can speak for this, I've been a victim at various periods of my life, can think of nothing worse than embracing that victimhood. Don't want to be a victim again, thank you very much. Not interested in that. But yes, apparently now being a victim is the best thing you can actually be. So, I think this young man, because he's 20 and we've all done stupid things when we were younger, should probably think on that. Just ponder on it. Why would you want? Like, why would you feel inferior in some way for not being a victim of racism? Why would you want to synthesize and manufacture that? And why do you believe that there is an audience out there, a group that would sort of embrace you and give you something you don't have now, currently in your life, because they believed it to be true? And I think if you explore all of that and get to the bottom of it, and get to the bottom of why your life is essentially empty enough to kind of manufacture racism against yourself, you'll probably find some profound answers to how to improve your life and move forward. So just a thought. But another classic didn't happen for the Files. Anyway, the reason we played American Dream right at the start was because we wanted to talk about, I'm here, I live in America, I love America, I want to be a citizen of America one day. Certainly hope that's going to remain a possibility. Never know. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to get harder. But maybe, just maybe, as somebody who's been in possession of not one but two exceptional persons visas in his lifetime, maybe I can get citizenship one day. And, green card comes first. But the UK is just awful. That's what I want to talk about. The place that I come from, a lot of people, they always take exception of this, because we do have a lot of British people still watch the show. And I'm not saying go fuck yourself and don't watch the show, but, if you're the kind of person who is going to be upset about me insulting the UK, it's like, do you still live there? Have you looked out your window? Have you read the newspapers? Because it's terrible now. It is a third world country. No, mate, I'm going to show you some shit that's going to blow your fucking mind. And it's got nothing to do with immigration. Right? Because I know that made everyone nervous. They winced. Oh, here we go. He's talking about immigration. No, fuck no. I pity anyone who comes to the UK. I think anybody who is an immigrant coming to modern Britain thinking the streets are going to be paved with gold. There's probably people in war-torn Syria that got there and were like, fucking hell. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It's not a destination I would flee to unless I was in the worst of circumstances, because it's absolute garbage. It is a garbage country. I'm going to talk about just a variety of reasons. But again, when I talk about it being a third world country, let me give you the reasons as to why this has happened. And this is because after all of the weak leadership by Labour and their terrible economic policies of New Labour, which pretty much contribute to the global economic collapse, including Gordon Brown's hilarious "you can spend your way out of a recession" philosophy. All right, mate. Last time I checked, economically, that doesn't work, but all right, fine. Good for him. But that followed then by the Tories, who were like, we're going to dig us out of this hole through austerity measures. And what austerity measures mean is we will crush the poor people who we've always secretly loathed and despised under our boots. And we'll couple that by cutting back essential services that, of course, primarily affect the working people of the United Kingdom. And we will do this little subterfuge over here about immigration, and we'll just hope you all tunnel in on that, and not what we're doing, and not how the NHS, we've slashed the budget, yet we're currently employing more middle managers and hospital managers than ever before. But we've got less nurses and doctors than ever before. They earn less money comparatively as a percentage than ever before. It's fine. It's only the National Health Service. I mean, again, when I talk to Americans out here, and they go, it must suck for you to have to deal with our health. I'll do a voice, actually. I feel comfortable doing that now. The Americans are my people. They won't mind. You must feel, I don't even know where this guy's from. You must feel terrible, sir, having to deal with all this American health care. And I'd say no, actually, because the NHS is the most overplayed, overblown, overhyped load of shit in the world, I would probably say. I do not understand why it has such good press. I say this as somebody who has watched the NHS's postcode lottery, a concept I have to explain to Americans, and they cannot believe the cruelty of it. If you're not familiar, the postcode lottery literally says that based on resource management, how many people live in a place, and sort of small local legislature around certain types of drugs. If you live in a postcode, you do not qualify for certain types of medicine. That's like basically a region. And if you live in another region, you might qualify for medicine that in some cases is absolutely life-saving on the NHS. You don't get it if you live in Newcastle, but maybe you get it if you live in Surrey. How is that a thing? People cannot understand that. I explained it to a Canadian just the other day. Their eyes rolled up into their fucking sockets like, what is that? Americans find that to be cruel. So the NHS is a fucking joke. But it's not just the NHS. It's pretty much every essential service. It's policing. It's transport. It's everything. Britain is just fucked. And, I had a sneaking suspicion. There was a report just yesterday that came out, and it was reported in The Guardian. And it talked about what the long-term effects of austerity measures actually are. And austerity measures, finally they've admitted it, by the way, the left. Says here that after, do you remember all the reports about how if you voted for Brexit, you were racist?
Yeah.
Well, now they've admitted that actually it was austerity measures that tipped the balance towards leave because people believed they would have more money. And this is a new report that came out just at the end of July. You can go and Google this and find out yourself. They've had to actually admit. Because, again, I always thought it was hilarious when you listen to American liberals talk about the Brexit vote and go, it's because you don't like brown people. Guys, have you seen who our immigrants are? They're Eastern Europeans. It's not a matter of skin color. In fact, liberals don't like the Polish because of their domestic policies, yet the average person who would have a problem with immigration in the UK would be probably xenophobic towards Polish people. Your arguments do not hold up because you don't actually know enough. Fuck, you don't know enough about America, let alone about what's going on over in the UK. That seems to be a sort of prevailing reality. But anyway, they finally admitted that Brexit was actually about people just not having enough money. It was economic angst, which, makes sense, right? Like, if you've got less money and your politicians, perhaps falsely, are telling you if we leave Europe, we'll have more money to spread around these essential services, like they did with that fucking stupid bus where they just lied. Farage and Boris Johnson were like, yeah, we'll have an extra 2.5 billion or whatever the fuck it was to spend on the NHS. And then when Brexit happened, they went, yeah, we probably really over-exaggerated that one. Like, when we say over-exaggerated, we mean we lied through our fucking teeth. Okay, cool. But yes, as expected, it wasn't racism that triggered the Brexit vote. It was people being brought to their knees by austerity measures. It has been described here in this Guardian article as the worst squeeze in wages of the major industrialized countries except depression-ravaged Greece. Okay, Paul Joseph Watson, let that sink in. For anybody who followed the economic collapse of Greece, the fact that this is the worst wage squeeze ever since then in Europe is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. And on top of that, we're now at the lowest growth rate of life expectancy of any developed country. And there are parts of the UK where life expectancy is in line with war-torn African countries. Go look it up. There are parts of Scotland where the average person lives as long as someone in the Congo. What is going on? What is happening, guys? And this is Tory government. But it's not just Tory government. You don't get here just by Tory government. New Labour contributed to this too. So go read up on this. And so there you go. I now feel comfortable saying Britain is a third world country. If it's not, it's turning into one rather rapidly. But let's also just take a sort of close-up look at the NHS and what's been going on with it. And I know this is serious. Don't worry, there's some fun, jokey stuff coming. But like here we go. This is another example, just a great example from the NHS. This is the health service, which, by the way, Britain beat their chests and they say, listen, guys, we've got the NHS. It's one of the most envied healthcare systems in the world. Maybe true. Maybe it was true when the great Mr. Bevan, Welsh, of course, founded it with principles. Maybe it was true 40 years ago. I remember the NHS before it became a catastrophic shithole. I can talk about this openly. Obviously, where I grew up, it was a very insular place, and I didn't meet people of other races and ethnicities until much later in my life. And the first black man I ever met was a guy from Egypt called Dr. Mansour. He'll be dead now. And I met him because he'd come over to the United Kingdom and joined the NHS, and he was a doctor. And my grandmother, who, by the way, was an evil old bitch, but he wasn't to know, had throat cancer. And back then, if you got throat cancer, you just died. It was just what happened. It was super rare to live. And what Dr. Mansour did, he was a surgeon, was an oncologist as well, I believe. He basically said, like, we can cut out the vocal cords. The cancer's localized. And with some chemotherapy and some surgery, we can save your life. So he put my grandmother under the knife and cut her vocal cords out, and she had, like, what they call a tracheotomy, and she used to talk with a voice box, and it used to scare my cousins because she sounded like a fucking Dalek because the voice boxes were terrible. She stopped doing that eventually. And it was thanks to Dr. Mansour, the first black person I had ever met in my life at about age 6 or 7. And the NHS then was great. They went to such great lengths to save my grandmother, who was already old and probably these days would just be written off, would just be consigned, to the sort of, they just put her in a hospice and just let her rot away. That's what happens now. Well, there's a story here, which Sam will bring up in just a moment. But it says here that this is a story about a woman who, on the NHS now, she was bedridden with Lyme disease. And if you don't know what Lyme disease is when it's like a disease which is carried by ticks and parasites. And she got bitten by a tick and came down with Lyme disease. And she was going to doctors, and the doctors just kept telling her that there was nothing wrong with her. She must have MS or chronic fatigue syndrome, or it must be psychosomatic. She was having seizures. She was, migraines. Her eyesight was failing. She was having hallucinations, and she lost her job. She couldn't care for her own child anymore. And then was denied sickness benefits because she couldn't get a doctor's note saying that this was a valid illness. So she was just essentially left to die by incompetent doctors. This is just another day at the office. This is just something that happened. She was even not given antibiotics, which would have helped, because the doctors were saying, like, no, it's definitely not that. It's definitely not this. It couldn't be this. It just ridiculous. She was on the verge of being homeless and couldn't get a sick note to get the benefits she needed from the job centre. Let me tell you, by the way, if you ever try and claim benefits in the UK, you'll see a lot of the sort of bait articles about immigrants getting all of the benefits. There is no way any of that is true. I'm not saying they don't qualify for certain benefits that other people don't. But let me tell you, the idea of if you're living on benefits in Britain, you're living the life of Riley, it's absolute nonsense. Most people now prefer not to claim benefits because of the sheer indignity of having to go to the job centre and tick all these boxes, and they're not interested in getting you a job that aligns with your experience. It's just they'll put you anywhere. You've got to take the first job off the top of the list. It could be anything. People would rather just use food banks. There's more dignity in that in Britain, in modern Britain. Don't worry though. We got more tales from the NHS. Let me just see. I think I got there was this here. Yes, Sam. Here you go. Another reason why I feel comfortable saying the UK is a third world country. One of the highest rates of sepsis deaths in the developed world.
I assume that's because of overcrowding, right?
Yep, absolutely. Because the NHS is stretched to fucking bursting point.
And probably the overuse of antibiotics doesn't help either.
Definitely doesn't help, yeah. And you know why we have the overuse of antibiotics? I mean, first of all, we don't have an educated populace to know that they're not going to help you, which is problem number one. Problem number two, though, is doctors who can't be asked. Doctors who simply do not give a fuck and are told you must see 14 patients an hour and just get them out the room. Just get them out. Here you go. Oh, what's that? Yeah, take these antibiotics. It'll clear up. You know, the medical profession has definitely contributed to the rise of superbugs. There's no other explanation. Who else is giving the antibiotics out? But of course, they don't like to talk about that bit. You just blame people. What are you asking for antibiotics for? What are you taking antibiotics for? You did write me the script, doctor, did you not? How did I get them? Did I,
Why can't I have them? I've got fucking Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, yeah, you do need some antibiotics.
So let's take a look at this. The number of recorded deaths where the primary cause was sepsis, also called blood poisoning or septicemia, was 11,328 in 2014, which was still pretty high. But it's now 15,722, an increase of 38.8% as of 2016 and 17. And, it's a combination of factors. It's antibiotic resistance, it's overcrowding in hospitals and bed occupancy. It's also that, the reason people are dying of it is that staff don't detect it until it's too spread because they haven't got the time to do it. And when they're dealing with patients that maybe are drifting in and out of consciousness and patients can't say.
Yeah, sepsis is a thing that can definitely be prevented and treated just from nurses and
doctors
being attentive.
Exactly. Not always, but if you catch it early enough.
No, sure. But I mean, it can be caught just from being attentive. Like if a nurse is checking on you every hour, they will definitely notice you have sepsis. Whereas if they can't check you on every hour because there's 40,000 people in the fucking hospital, that's when you start dying.
Absolutely. Didn't you have sepsis?
No, my appendix exploded.
Oh, yeah, it was peritonitis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My bad. All right, so, okay, it's just the NHS, Richard. You're just tunneling in on the NHS, goddammit. Why have you got to point out that the NHS fucking sucks and private healthcare is infinitely better? That's not the narrative, sir. Don't get me wrong, I wish we could live in a world where there was a way that everybody just got free healthcare, what they need, and we all just live forever. That would just be sick. But that's called utopia. We don't live there. And there should definitely be subsidies for the poor. I think denying poor people healthcare if they can't afford it is monstrous. And there's got to be some middle ground. I'm not saying America has it fixed. But let me tell you, if the choice was, here's the NHS, and here's an 18-month waiting list, or you can pay every time if you can afford it, because the NHS will kill you. The NHS will kill you. It is not what it once was, if it ever was as good as what I thought it was. But okay, let's hit you with another story, and this will make people sad. Prepare for some sad in your life.
Only gone from dying of sepsis and undiagnosed.
That's nothing. Look, when it comes to talking about statistics like that, I'm inclined to agree with Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin said, "The death of a man is a tragedy. The death of a million men is merely a statistic." And he was on point about that. He meant it in a very dark and evil way. But there's no getting away from the fact that actually, when you think about it, that is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alt-right leader Richard Lewis advocates for Joseph Stalin in latest podcast.
Gone. Sponsorship.
Gone.
Visa.
Gone. It's all gone. But look, let's talk about this. Okay, and this blows my mind. Now, I don't know if you know about this in the UK. There's now a rule. They've extended loco parenti. Loco parenti is the law that basically means the school has that when it's in the care of your child, it has parental controls and influence from a legal perspective. that when a child goes to school and it attends those four walls, loco parenti enables teachers to effectively discipline the child, to tell the child what to do. It also means they have a duty of care to those children. So if a teacher takes your child on a school trip and he falls down a mine shaft and dies, the teacher's liable, or certainly the school is. That's loco parenti. But what happened in the UK was you started getting all of these, bad parents, right? Again, the chavs, Sam, the chavs, and they don't respect school. And we've got to get these fucking kids, these obese, stupid chavs, we've got to get them educated,
Agreed.
Sam. We've got to get them educated.
Educate fat chavs.
Yeah, educate fat chavs. So there was this demonization. And keep in mind, when we talk about chavs, I'm not saying that all of the working class are just good old community muckers all slap themselves on the back. But there is something where if you deny people access to certain cultural things that they need and certain, services they need, and when you've got no money and very limited amounts of time because you're working all the time, your children probably aren't going to have a very culturally rich and educationally rich background, just as a rule, not always, but just as a rule. And that for me is a failing of society, and that we need to look at broader strokes than just, why don't we extend teacher control so they now apply outside of school? That's what we did in the UK. And this means now, for example, if a parent, I want to really just stress this, the parent, of the child says, I want my kid to have a day off school. They can't. They can be prosecuted. That's Britain. They're doing that in Britain. Modern Britain. I can't tell you how many times when I was a kid that, obviously my dad was in prison. Me and my mother, we used to have a pretty good relationship before the stepfather entered the equation. And I can't tell you the amount of times that, it was like, do you know what? This thing's in town. It would be good for you to go and learn about it. I'm going to give you, we're not going to go to school today, and we're going to go together, and we're just going to do the thing. And, I didn't miss an unhealthy amount of school. My life wasn't ruined because I didn't go to school on the day that we grew some cress in a jar. I went and did other things with my mother. What's the problem? Well, this is a problem now in Britain. And also as well, you know what? Who gives a fuck if you're learning? Sometimes it's just nice to spend some family time. Is the family unit not important anymore? Did I miss a meeting? Did I go to sleep?
Especially on the age. I'm assuming this is mean for younger kids. If you're 16 and you're doing the GCSEs, fair enough. Maybe not a good time to keep pulling you out of school. But from the ages of fucking 3 till what? 9? Are you learning anything? Are you though? When do you start learning real math? 7 maybe? Do you start doing math 6? I don't know. It's literally nothing. It's playing in a sandbox and learning how to be around other humans for the first 3 years. You can miss it, trust me.
It is just nonsense, right? That this idea, family time is important. And if your parents want to take you out to have a fucking holiday because it's when they can afford to go, that has worth to your life. And no fucking school populated by fucking miserable alcoholics, right, who probably don't have kids of their own in most cases. And again, I say it all the time, I don't want to bang on teachers, right, because I've got friends who are teachers. But did you ever meet a teacher who was completely well balanced and normal?
The only time we ever do, right, is from my memory of school, the only teachers I remember liking were either ones that have been in it for ages and somehow still came out on the other side and they still love kids and they still love doing it. They were sound.
Yeah.
Or the teachers who have just started. And it was really rare to find someone who's been doing it for ages who still likes kids. I think eventually, mate, you just get broken the fuck down by how horrible kids are. I think it just gets to you eventually, mate. I bet all of them went into it really nice, really wanting to educate the future. I can really make a difference in these kids' lives. But after 10 years of being called a cunt and sworn at, mate, you just break down. You're just like, fuck these kids! Fuck all these kids! Why did I do this?
Right.
I could have been a lawyer!
I had a friend called DB. We'll just call him that, right? And
Aaron Brown.
Yeah.
He was doing a card trick at the rest.
He was a teacher 5 days a week. And then on Friday, he wouldn't even get to he wouldn't even make it home. He would drive to a bar, meet me,
Yeah.
Right? When we would start drinking Friday afternoon, and then we would start taking hard drugs Friday afternoon, and we would sort of come up or come down on, depending on what we'd been taking, Sunday night, Monday morning, 4 a.m., and he would go to school.
Time for a shower.
Yeah, and he would have a shower and go to school and just get back into the thick of it. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. It was absolutely insane.
I had one teacher, like, I think I can't remember what he taught now.
Yeah.
But he was like, we used to talk to him, like, when we were in the last year, you could talk to him about drinking and shit and drugs, and he was the only teacher who'd, like, sort of talk about smoking weed and going to rock shows.
Yeah.
And, like, we'd see him sometimes out, and he'd always be alone, and he had a wife and a kid, and every time you see him, he'd just be alone drinking whiskey, but just you could see him, he's broken by the system, mate. Just a man who can't be asked anymore.
Mate, he used to say it all the time, though. We'd be there, and it would be like Sunday, 7 a.m. Sorry, Monday morning, 7 a.m. He's got to go in for school. He'd be shaking like a shitting dog. And I'd be like, DV, mate, just call in sick, like, just you have a line, go to bed.
Have a line, go to bed. Well,
that'll take the edge off. And he would just be like, nah, it's all right, Rich, I'll just put a fucking video on. He'd just go in.
That was exactly what that teacher used to do as well. I think he taught Welsh. Yeah. Welsh it was. Yeah, because he used to play Welsh videos. That's just spurred it back. Yeah, we used to watch just Welsh language shows. You like, watch this. Straight to bed.
Yeah. He would just go, it's a video to doing, guys. Covalent bonds. Just watch this. And he'd just be like on his desk, like, and he just lived that life. He lived that life, and by all accounts, the kids loved him. Because obviously, I would argue he didn't take his job too seriously, right?
Yeah, obviously.
But he was a good guy. He invented a drink, a cocktail that we had, and it was right. We used to go to the drummer in my bands. We used to go to his house. Oh, well, yeah, just turn me off, mate.
I've made your mic instead of mine. That was my bad. Probably made me have a deep breathe.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. we would go to my drummer friend's house, right? And we used to just wreck his parents. They were quite well to do. They used to have this fucking drinks cabinet, and it was filled with like.
You just going to say wrecked his parents' house? Was like,
no.
No,
we would just. I mean, we certainly wrecked them. We would, they had like one of those old.
Drinks cabinet,
rich person's drinks
So I
cabinets.
bet they had like creme de menthe.
Yeah. Just utter garbage. Yeah. It would have like one or two nice whiskies, some
brandy.
Yeah, a cognac, that would be there. And then it would just be like Campari, martini, just all this shit, right? And basically what we used to do is we would get a pint glass and we would fill it up like 3/4 of the way with just a shot of everything.
Right.
And then we would top it off with Kiora orange cordial.
Okay.
This was DB's idea. He'd come up with this, and it was and he just cut.
So it's a shot of every liquor,
just whatever there was. So it wasn't even the same drink every time.
He hasn't invented anything. No. It hasn't even got an ingredients list.
Taking drinks from a place.
A tenth counts. Of everything with orange. So,
right. And we said like we got to come up with a name for this drink.
Crack.
The cunt. It was just called the cunt. It was just awful because you would just have a sip of it and you would just go, cunt. Like it was hardcore. And he was a teacher, is what I'm saying. So look, I've tried to add some brevity to the mood. Here comes the ultimate downer. This story is fucking terrible. So this was in the Daily Mail. Who pick up on these things because they think the Daily Mail, while it is a hysterical rag, I think for the most part, they don't like the idea of sort of state interference of, basic parenting, which I suppose I have in common with the average conservative. But here is a story about Angela Rose, a 36-year-old woman who is dying of cancer, and she wanted to have one last holiday with her son and take him out of school. And the school are saying if she does that, she'll be prosecuted, and we will not recognize the right to take your son out of school to spend one last holiday with you while you're alive because it isn't exceptional circumstances. Now, let me tell you, imagine this happening in America. No way. It just wouldn't. And this is Britain. And
I mean, but are they going to arrest you, though?
The local council has fully backed this. Like, it's not, you have to understand, it's not just the school being a bunch of wacky idiots. It's backed. This is a council, Milton Keynes Council. It's fully mandated by the council that they do this and that they, you know. And the reason she's doing it as well, like, keep in mind, also somebody that found out the joys of the NHS and tried to pay privately to save her life. Alas, too late, or not to the degree. And she can go in the school holidays, but it would cost her £1,000, and she hasn't got it. But if she can be allowed to go in September when school starts again, it'll only cost £400, which she says she can just do. So all of these mitigating circumstances, the school, the local council, they all say, go fuck yourself and your terminal cancer. And that's that. You can't have a last holiday with your child. It is insane. It is insane. Yeah. And again, I would just like to hear a justification for it. If anybody can, oh yeah, the kid's education is far more important. Let me tell you what's going to happen to that kid's education after his mother dies. He's probably not going to be able to concentrate in school so much. You know, what them being a child and losing his mother and having to watch her waste away before his eyes to a fucking savage and cruel illness. I reckon he's probably going to have a few more days off school. But you know what might help him get through those dark days? Having some nice, warm, heartfelt fucking memories to be able to cling to. You have to be an absolute fucking monster. You have to be so disconnected with reality, and you have to honestly hate children, I think, to even want to like stand by this decision. It is so fucking insane. And again, modern Britain. Nobody bats an eye at stories like this anymore in modern Britain. I'm sure this isn't the only time this has happened, this very sort of specific case. All right, well, what else is bad about it?
They have since changed, though.
Have they?
Yeah.
Proof?
So, it's in the article. A school spokesman said, although we knew she had health issues, we did not realise the full extent of them. We should have checked further. We didn't, and we're very sorry. In light of this, we will, of course, grant this leave of absence outside of normal school.
Permit me to translate that, Sam. Permit me to translate that statement. We were going to stand by not allowing a terminally ill woman to spend some time with her child, but then we saw it in the national newspapers and shit our pants. So we've now reversed our decision because we don't want our cars being fucking egged every time we pull out of school. Is that more accurate, do you think?
I don't know if this was before the article came out or not. Like, I don't know if that's an update, or I don't know if that was the response before they went public.
You know, and I see this all the time with fucking schools and institutions and councils. You know, keep in mind, I talk about this all the time. You know, councils that use anti-terrorist laws to go through your garbage, not because they suspect you of being a terrorist, but they want to know if you're planning to send a child to a school that's outside of the catchment area. You know, every time these stories make it to the newspaper, usually the Daily Mail, right? They always do the same thing. Oh, it was a fucking mistake. Bloody hell. How can we get it so wrong? Meanwhile, of course, when they're in the moment and they're telling a sick, dying woman, I mean, they've already caused her untold amounts of stress, by the way, and untold amounts of trauma. She could even possibly miss the window to make the saving that was so vitally important to her, while you have your little fucking power trip. Listen, I get it. It must suck to be disrespected by children that just laugh in your face and recognize that ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, not only do you have no real authority, but you're also kind of wasting your life a little bit, aren't you? You know, and it must suck to sort of have that, like, oh, I'm the teacher. It must suck. I think teachers, probably a lot of them, do have inherent inferiority complexes, and I get all of that. But, you know, that doesn't mean you got a power trip first time a little bit of fucking authority comes your way. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. And that councils are signing off, and I mean, fuck councils as well. Some of the most wasteful organizations on planet Earth. Just fucking Britain, dude. It just makes me ill. All right, don't worry though. You've got all these wonderful personal freedoms, right, Sam? Get this for the UK. Okay. Now, I'm going to say some things here that might upset people. But it's never stopped me before. If you're one of the people that, I don't know, you remember that cunt who turned himself into a cat?
No.
Catman, he's dead now.
Catman, he's dead now. What? No, I don't.
Type in a Google Catman.
Why, though? Why am I searching for Catman? I can guess what he looks like.
I don't think you can, mate.
All right. Oh, wait, which one? There's a comic book called Catman.
Yeah, okay, well, not the comic, because I'm talking about a real person.
I assume it's this cunt who looks kind of like a fucking tiger.
He's tried to make himself look like that.
Yeah.
His full name, his full name was Stalking Cat. Okay, if that helps. If you go on his Wikipedia page, because God knows he has a Wikipedia page. That's society for you, I guess. You can have a look at the before and after. It's quite drastic.
Stalking Cat, yeah, I see him.
Yeah, Stalking Cat. There it is. Remembering Catman. So I'm just saying, right?
Where's the before and after?
Go on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah.
Can you not see it?
No.
Oh, wait, hang on. Can I send you a link?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Tumblr. Sorry.
Oh, it's on Tumblr.
Yeah, my bad.
What?
I just typed in Catman dead, and it was like Scatman Crothers.
Catman dead.
But yeah, it's like if you just look on the right of a Google search, it says Stalking Cat was in America. Yeah, and it's got a picture of him. You can see the before and after, right?
Yeah.
Now, listen.
Why though?
Yeah, this is the point I'm going to say, which I think is going to upset people. I think if you do something like that, you probably got something wrong with you. Right? Sorry. Okay.
Oh, that's loads of them, mate. The lizard man.
Oh, dude, yeah, everyone's mental these days. I think you've got something wrong with you. I can't put my finger on what it is. I don't think the medical community can put...
I think it's because you got permanent face paint, but...
Well, I don't know. But here's something I would never say. Here's something I would never say. I would never say... Can you stop pressing buttons? You fucking mad cunt. Here's what I would never say is you don't have the right to do it. Like, you agree with that principle, right?
Yeah, obviously. I don't give a fuck.
If you want to fuck yourself up, have at it, mate.
Yeah.
I've seen cunts, like Jigsaw, the horns.
Yeah.
Mate, I'll tell you something else. I talked about this with Count Dankula. And, the people who put the plates in their ears?
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
The plates are like...
Yeah, the discs.
Okay, yeah, but how big are we talking? You mean like the kids, the ones that like goths wear? Or
Just
like
any of them.
kids? Or do you mean like the massive ones? Like tribal size?
Right. Just any.
Well, it's definitely different. One of them's worse. I'm like, I don't know if it's worse.
Just stop it.
Why though?
Right, here's why. Because as you get older...
Yeah, but you cut them off. It's not a big deal. You can have surgery now. You can get it done for like $100, but people do it now. They fixed that.
All right, well, maybe I don't want to fucking...
It's not ideal. You have got to get your ears chopped, but I don't know.
Just don't.
It's not the worst. The thing is, it's less permanent than a tattoo if you want to have that sort of decision. If you want to have that discussion.
Yeah, but listen, right, so I'm all right with 1 or 2 tattoos, even on your head. Go nuts.
On your head?
Yeah, have them on your head.
Whoa.
1 or 2, I said.
So, yeah... Still, 1 or 2 tattoos on your head, but don't stretch your ears out. That can be just
dangling down like
but you can just snip
Cthulhu's mouth.
It's easier than fucking having a laser off your face. So you're saying it's better to have a teardrop on your eyelid than it is to have a fucking ear stretched out. That's mental.
100%.
That's mental.
Also, because having a gauge in your ear makes you look like a cunt. Having a teardrop here makes it look like you killed someone in prison. So, one is inherently cooler than the other.
Easier to get a job with, though, mate. You can work in, like, Hot Topic with one of them. You can't work with the other, can you?
I don't know, mate. I don't know, actually, these days. But anyway, the point being...
Teardrop tattoos.
A teardrop tattoo is way better than fucking dribbly ears.
Yeah, because you think it's cool. It's not better for, like, society standards.
When you take them discs out, mate, it is mental.
It depends how big they are. If they're like tiny, who cares? As long as they're not bigger than like if they're bigger than you can make with your index finger and thumb, they're too big.
No, but here's the thing as well. They're like a runaway train. Once you stretch, you can't go back. Yeah, you have to keep going. That's the point. One day you wake up, you got to put your disc in, and it just fucking falls through, and then you're fucked, aren't you? You're like, well, guess I got to go to the next size.
That doesn't happen, by the way. No. To stretch it, you've got to do that physically.
Mate, I grew up
because I know people who's got them. You've got to get like a bigger one, and you've got to force your skin around it. But
mate, I grew up watching fucking Akira and Tetsuo and all these body horror yeah, obviously. No, but and fucking all these body horror movies by Cronenberg, and these motherfuckers out here doing it for real. Stop doing it.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Good, right? But here's the thing: I'm telling them to stop doing it, but obviously, I would never want the government or anyone else to just do what the fuck you want with your body. Is pretty much like the only fucking stance you can take. Yeah, and exactly look at the fucking state of Ziz. There
What's
you
wrong
go.
with Ziz?
Come on,
Ziz was fucking. I can't think. What's the word? Aesthetic.
Sick. he was a sick cunt. But that's to me that's sort of an extreme form of almost like a body dysmorphia. It does make me laugh. I'll say this as well. People who are anti oh, look at these weird cunts over here with the fucking horns on their head and holes in their face and all this, and then it's yeah, but look at this cunt who's got a supremely unhealthy amount of fucking ultra low body fat and a heart that's as big as his fucking head.
I don't know. That's what I mean.
It's freakish.
But who gets to decide? That's
Nobody gets to decide.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, be logically consistent in your criticism.
Yeah.
That they're extremes of the human form.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Britain. Back to shithole Britain, right? They've actually now ruled, this is just this month, August the 3rd. Stop it.
Literally wasn't even me that time. Scared.
No, we got a ghost in the machine. Hey, can we put some
fat
stickers on the mix of it?
No, it's because I'm old on both, and sometimes I don't know. I just forget how fingers work. I guess, mate. Fuck knows. No one to tell you.
Right, if you want to mute yourself, have a fucking bong it. Now you're muting me. Yeah, stop.
No, that wasn't you. That was me.
I was definitely muted.
No, you weren't.
Right. Anyway, right. So look, they've ruled that it should be illegal to split your tongue in half, even if you do it obviously consensually, right?
Yeah.
A court of appeal judgment found tongue splitting to be illegal in England and Wales, constituting grievous bodily harm if performed by a body modification practitioner for cosmetic purposes, even in instances where consent has been obtained. I mean, it certainly should be illegal in instances where consent hasn't been obtained. If you got me wrecked out my mind, took me to a body modification place, and I woke up and I'm fucking
turn this
Richard
motherfucker into a lizard.
Yeah. Don't worry, he knows about it.
Richard Lizard.
Yeah, it's your boy, Rickard Liz. But, if I consent to it and you're a fucking trained practitioner in splitting tongues and stuff...
Yeah, fair facts.
Why you... At what point did someone wake up and went, you know what needs to be illegal? You know what we gotta protect people from? People getting their own tongues split in half. What? Fuck me, have you looked at... Your country is burning! Why are you concerned with this? This is not an issue. This is actually an erosion of personal freedom again. Please, guys, can we prioritise?
To be fair, they haven't ruled it illegal in Scotland, so you couldn't just get a train up to Scotland, get your tongue cut off, and have a train back down. It is going to cost you an extra 120 quid in train,
Yeah, well, Scotland had the right fucking idea, didn't it? We get all the benefits of being part of the United Kingdom, but we don't listen to any of the wacky shit that the fucking British government comes up with. It's just madness. So, okay, right. So personal freedom's getting eroded in the UK too, so the UK shit. Here's something I did see, and it's I couldn't find a way to fit it in the show, but I want to talk about it anyway, and it's super harsh. No one's going to be on board with this one, right? No, seriously, I don't think anyone is. But
this episode of Alienate the Audience.
Yeah, welcome to this episode of Richard's Box is Gone. Right, there was a story about a guy, okay, and what had happened was his daughter had died, okay, 30 years ago, and they buried her. And she died very young. She was born premature and she died 2 days after being alive.
Right.
And they, put her in a grave. And they found out 30 years later that what they thought was her grave wasn't her grave.
Right.
And he's suing them, which I suppose is fine. Manchester City Council, he's suing. But he's saying, I've been talking to her at the wrong place for 30 years. And
Right.
I just kind of think, come on, mate.
I mean, if you believe in spirits, surely
But
they
come
can
on,
hear
though.
you from anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, it's a council, so fuck,
fuck
them.
them. Yeah, I do have a sue, like 100%. There's got to be some fucking moolah changing.
Yeah. Just
Fair
fuck them.
fucks, like,
100% fuck them. Right?
Let's not pretend that you know something really happened. Like,
But do you know what I mean?
I guess there definitely is a case.
I've been talking to the wrong piece of stone for 30 years. I was like, come on, man. Come on, though.
I mean, people are saying. I think that is a meme. The guy who said, "You're an ignorant atheist." I think that's a
he's
joke.
probably not lying.
But like,
we've got some. Oh shit! I haven't even
but
told
I'm
you
saying,
about
if you do believe in God, God hears you everywhere, right? God doesn't just live in church. You pray at home. You pray everywhere, right? Same for spirit. Surely you don't have to go to exactly where the body is buried. That isn't how it works.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a way I can bring it back. Obviously, I can just bring it back and be like, "Oh, bloody councils can't even bury the dead kids properly." Like, I can still save myself if people get so upset, right? Councils, eh? This is what you.
It is bad. Like, you definitely do want to know where she's.
It's
buried.
bad, but come on, like,
that isn't the case. I'd just be like, come on, you have. I don't know. It's probably you could definitely say it's brought back grief to know, like, all these years I've been at the wrong place. That definitely fucks you up a bit.
right? So
If you are religious, especially.
let me find you this. You totally brought it back to me, dude. Obviously, we get emails because I do have a website. We don't even plug the fucking website anymore. I got sent an email from what looks to be a devout Christian,
Right.
and they told me that me and you have to watch a video to save our souls. I gotta find it, dude. Is this it? No.
I did see it. To be fair, he said, "You, mate, I am free." Jesus
Well, he
already
didn't
accepts
mention
me.
you?
Nah, mate, I'm fine. You're the one who's on the way to damnation, mate.
Here it is.
I've said my Hail Mary.
I'm not gonna read it all, because he does say some slightly unpalatable things about people I may or may not live with. But I'll read the email.
Go for it.
Richard, even though you rarely talk about it, you really have had a hard life. So this started out pretty good.
Nice guy.
I mean, I will say the subject of the email was called "You'd imagine there's enough dirt in Nevada to fill that hole." I don't know what that means. I don't
That
know.
existential hole.
Yeah, does that what he means? Is he talking about? Or does he like mean my ass?
Fucking hell, it reminds me of that Darren Brown routine with the fake miracles. You could not fill that hole with drugs.
Okay, but right, anyway. Even though you rarely talk about it, you really have had a hard life. I've been following your work since the I by Power times, and I'd feel sadness if I never tried to talk to you about salvation. Now that you are making fun of people who talk to Jesus, you really are well on your way to damnation, and you will be forgotten and left behind. And I don't think you deserve that just because of the culture. And he's put it in parentheses. I think he doesn't like the Jewish people, Sam. That's what that means. Echoes. That's what it's for. It's an anti-Semitic meme.
Is
right?
it?
Yeah, that's what that means.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It's
Why
anti-Semitism. Because what happened was there was a plugin like somebody made. So on Twitter, it would automatically put 3 parentheses around anybody who was Jewish. This is true, right? Some fucking Nazi cunt did this, and that's where that comes from.
Fucking hell.
So it's like a wink, wink. You know, it's for people who believe the Jews run everything. You know, the lunatics.
He's dropped the fucking Jew control.
Yeah, that's what that means. The culture.
I had no idea.
Yeah, now you know. Happy to educate you. So anti-Semitic among other things. The culture is telling you to disregard mountains of evidence for biblical correlation. Once you get
Start with Noah, shall we?
mate.
Start with 2 by 2.
Right, real talk. Are there mountains of evidence for biblical
start
correlation?
with fucking Noah.
there-
for a start, how big's this fucking boat?
Get
How
yourself,
big's
get
the
yourself
boat?
on camera while you're talking about Noah, son.
How big's the boat for a start? Number one, how does he find all the animals in the same place? Where'd what, he got penguins and fucking camels in the same place, did he? How does that work? Why didn't they eat each other? It's not like they're fucking friends. They can't say, oh, we all got to stick together for this, boys. Obviously, we're in a fucking hard time here. Noah's gone fucking well and above the expectation. It's all be like, doesn't fucking happen to you, but... And even if it's metaphorical, whoa, so we took the DNA of fucking every species of everything, put it on a boat when there was no scientific equipment, then cloned that DNA into animals that could survive. Mate, we can go from gospel to gospel if you want, but just for a start, Noah's fucked.
Right, no, but listen, are there mountains of evidence?
I mean...
Is that true?
There's yet to be any. I think that's the big thing, like. I think that's kind of why not everyone believes in God, is the old evidence.
And here's the thing, it's not even evidence, it's biblical correlation. It's a very specific phrase, isn't it? It's almost as if he's saying that you can take parts of the Bible and see how it correlates to real life.
So I think what he's saying is how it correlates to now, like as in he thinks we're living in, because people from the Westboro Baptist Church say this a lot, that we're living in a time of biblical, like as in the time we are in now is written in the Bible, as in we are close to the end. So like we are actually approaching the end. Because remember they were saying like the Antichrist as a approach.
Yeah, they do talk about him a fair bit. Yeah.
So I think that's what he means.
Anyway, look. Right. Once you get this message, sit down with Sam. See, I told you were in it.
No.
And watch this one YouTube video. Make fun of it the whole way through with Sam doing his laughs. But listen to what's being said and follow up on the information because you're a journalist and a good person.
Nice guy.
Actually, I did get told the other day, a religious person told me that they saw God in me. So...
Were you wearing that God hat again?
Were
you wearing your Pope hat around the house again?
I do like to pose as the Pope from time to time in the privacy of my own home, and there ain't nothing wrong about it. It would probably be banned in the UK, of course. But in America, where we have fucking freedom...
Yeah, you better be careful walking around with a big white hat around you. People start taking photos of you, and all of a sudden, alt-right Ricky Lewis back.
That's a Pope hat,
No, I'm a Pope. Look, there's a cross on it.
knowing my look, right?
No, I mean, it's a golden cross.
Knowing my look, right, it would be up here, and I'd, like, bend over, and it would, like, slip
fall
down. And just some holes would just appear over my eyes. And it would just look like I was a fucking Grand Wizard or something. Like, no, I was impersonating the Pope. It was fine. I was impersonating the Pope. Imagine impersonation of the Pope being your defense. Like, anyway,
I was merely pretending to be the Pope.
So, right, make fun of it the whole way through with Sam doing his laughs, and listen to what's being said and follow up on the information because you're a journalist and a good person. Make believe you're doing a solid for a long-time fan who thinks it's all going down in flames. You figure he's clamoring over $35 in skins, but you need to go over the chat first. It's literally your life and death. That's what he says. So I've got the video, right, that he's linked in here, and it is called...
Isn't the whole point of religion you're supposed to die? Isn't dying good? Because then you get to go to the afterlife.
Yeah, but I think he means, like, eternal life and eternal death. Like, don't get me wrong, if it all turns out to be real, I'm going to feel a right cunt.
Yeah, I know. I have had that thought. Like, imagine if you died, you just had at hell, and he's like, well, no, then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you can just imagine it, can't you? Just get down there, Satan's there. I'll tell you, I fucking love atheists, mate.
Devil racking up a line.
Yeah.
What's that? Another fucking atheist. Bring him in. Bring the pineapples and lube him up.
Yeah. Death by Mau Mau.
Little Nicky style.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, so look, let's right. Here's the video, right? I'll send it to you, but it's by someone called Tim Alberino.
How long is it?
Oh no! Listen, we can't watch it on the show. There's no way. But yeah, Timothy Alberino, and he appears to be sort of evangelical kind of preacher type dude, I think.
Right.
And they're talking about. Well, it's called the Unholy Sea, and it just says here. Hang on, I'll read you the bit. It starts talking about like how they've found stuff out there, which pretty much proves the existence of God.
Jesus, I hope.
Yeah, talking about like just how demented this sounds, mate. I don't know why he picked this video out, but he goes, learn about the unexplored underground cities on the island of Malta. See the massive megalithic structures of Peru from ground zero. Amazing supernatural creations that can't be duplicated today. Definitely can. There's no way.
Also, I can explain this. I've seen this argument already. It's already been debunked. The basis of this argument is the same basis that Egypt had.
Yeah.
Where there were they had the belief that 12,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, there were only hunter-gatherers who had no ability to create structures or, intricate buildings. And then we found Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which dates back to 14,000 years, which has like religious monuments and sculptures and carvings, and it was buried in sand purposely to preserve it. So that got rid of the idea that people couldn't do it before. So that explains why there's buildings from years ago.
Right, well, anyway, it can't be duplicated today, apparently. I mean, absolutely. I just think about that for just 2 fucking seconds, though. Have you been to Dubai? Like, have you seen... They
made a fake beach.
Yeah, they literally made, 9 islands in the shape of a palm tree because they liked it. We've built buildings that, shoot into the fucking sky, a 1/4 mile high. We've built buildings that, intertwine each other like the DNA helix. It's like... I'm going to go out on a limb and say those 2 really big stones, we could do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, it goes on. Learn about the Vatican's high-powered binocular telescope atop Mount... Yeah, to look at kids. To look at kids getting undressed from anywhere in the world.
Fuck it out.
There we go. He's been excommunicated. The high-powered binocular telescope atop Mount Graham in Arizona, they nicknamed it Lucifer. And their search for extraterrestrial life. Underground treasure hunts, ? A black market for the bones of the Genesis 6 giants, ? Elongated skulls and hidden tunnels, ? Beware, this interview may change your entire worldview. I'm fucking down for that, dude.
Although I could eat fucking 30 edibles and watch on a
No, this is what I'm saying. How about this, right? How about this, just for an idea for some content, right? We put it on the big TV, and we just watch it. You on edibles, me, I don't do drugs. I'm clean.
Fucking nerd. What an ugly little nerd.
Alright, we'll take edibles, and we'll watch it. We'll just film our reaction, and we'll splice a reaction video.
Yeah.
You down?
I still haven't edited that other Q&A, mate. You know I'm lazy, Fred.
No,
I'm going to have to figure out a way to live edit. I'm going to have to come up with fucking timestamps or something.
How about you just don't be lazy?
It's hard, mate. No, it's worth... if it was just you, it'd be easier. But watching 4 hours of footage of yourself is fucking torture, mate. Yeah. Especially when I'm wrecked out of my mind. Just,
another thing you could do is you could always train Maria up to do this for us.
Could pawn it off to someone.
Yeah, Maria's perfect. She lives with us. She's the one. Go get it done. Okay, so anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up while we were talking about religious stuff. But for fucking sure, can we just stop with the fucking outlawing people just doing stuff they want to do? I want to split my tongue. Can't, mate. Illegal. Sorry. It's the UK. We don't have freedom here. Right. So, and then one last thing, and this is sort of to bring it all back, and haha, we're all happy again. This is another reason why working in the UK is shit. And just right. This is a form of cruelty, Sam. This isn't funny, in my opinion. Right. Have you ever had a retail? I don't even know if you've ever had a job, have you?
Yeah.
How high pitched did you go there? Go on, what lie are you going to tell me?
No, I had jobs.
Go on, what job?
Well, no, that's what I mean. I've never had an affiliate. No, I have. Well, outside of IMG, I haven't had a job where you get paid through fucking the books.
Right.
But I was a labourer. Then I worked at a PC repair place.
Okay.
That's about it. Just building shit.
All right.
I've never worked a retail or anything like that. I've never worked a service job.
Right. Well, let me tell you about working in retail. It is fucking AIDS. It is.
That's why I never went into it. I could tell from the outside.
It is bad. It is really bad. And one of the things that happens in a lot of retail outlets, and I used to run a mobile phone shop, as a lot of people who followed my life know, and you used to get sent these CDs, and it was sent from corporate, and they would be 1 hour CDs, and it was approved songs that you could play, and you could only play the approved corporate music in the store. And you would get one at Christmas where, it would be...
And I wish it
Yeah. To be fair, I will give them this. They did have the Pogues on there. The bells are ringing, wrecked out my mind. So that was all right. But But anyway, so Christmas time was torturous because it was just like
On repeat.
yeah, they're on repeat. You used to put it into the CD system,
people, yeah.
turn on all the speakers, and there was one above like every. The worst part about it was we had these desks, and they had to have a speaker above every desk in case you brought a customer over. I hate this, by the way. Can I just say, right? Like this is a complete like tangent again. When did it become normal to just have music playing everywhere you fucking go? When did that become normal?
I know everything needs a backing track now.
Like, fuck me. Can I sit down in a restaurant and hear who's sat at my fucking table? I wouldn't even mind if it was elevator music.
I like when that's even worse of it, trust me, because eventually it gets just like, why the fuck is that basic pattern on repeat? They always have a fancy restaurant.
I don't mind that.
Oh no, it does my head in, but that tweaks me
I'd
out
rather
more.
that than like, is the fucking top 10 fucking songs on the radio that you heard in the car on the way down, that you heard in the fucking lobby of the restaurant going into it. Like, can I sit at a table and have a fucking Is this too much to ask now? Is this too much to ask? Does the consumer fucking capitalist wet dream never fucking end? That, like, you must just be constantly bombarding me with a fucking product. How long before, I open a menu and before I can see what's on the menu, I got a 30-second advertisement I got to get through first. Are we there yet? We will be, by the way. Clip this. Menus that have advertising on before you're allowed to see what's on the menu. Coming soon to a restaurant near you while you're listening to the same songs that fucking sound the same as the other 9 songs on a 10-song fucking loop. Happening. Look, they banned Alex Jones. Someone's got to make up for him. Definitely happening.
I got some content of Alex Jones we definitely shouldn't do. Let's avoid some of it, mate. Maybe we'll do the gay frogs part.
Yeah. The word crisis actor has never been so loathsome, has it really? Anyway, so here's the thing. So when you work in retail, it fucking blows. All right? It fucking blows. And you have to listen to these CDs of corporate-approved songs, and it's the safest shit that's out there. And it's just garbage. And it'll be like, who likes the fucking Venga Boys?
In my room.
It is. I can't believe it's not music. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking... And there's like... Think about it. How many songs can you realistically fit into an hour? They're all about, what, 3 minutes, 3 minutes 30? You know what I mean? So it's not a lot of songs. There's not a lot of variety, and it's just on a fucking loop. It's just on a loop all day.
We like the party.
And I'm in that shop, right? I'm on that shop floor for like 8 hours. This is what they did to people in Guantanamo Bay, folks. Okay, so that's bad enough. But then there was this story in the fucking UK, of course, where this would be deemed okay. I as a former fucking trade union representative, I would absolutely be like, we're on strike today, fuckers. Right? This is a story. Get this, Sam. In a Burger King in the UK, Burger King did like a competition, and it was something like Burger King UK put a tweet out, and it said, if this gets 1,000 retweets, we will play Toto Africa all day in one of our restaurants.
Okay, now.
Right? And then Toto themselves like retweeted it. And look, can I also say this? It's not that good a song, guys. I'm sorry. It's a very ordinary 80s song. It's just not that big a deal. Like, no, leave it on while I talk over it.
Yeah, that's good. Make sure you talk over it.
Yeah, no, but you might have to turn it down.
Yeah,
there you go. A little bit more. But you can turn it up a little bit. Let people hear it, right? Let people hear it. Let them hear the shit.
They can hear it, right?
Right. So, listen. It is an ordinary song. It's so ordinary and generic throwaway that the lyrics are garbage. They don't make any sense. Even when the guy who wrote it explained what the fucking song was about, couldn't explain it, right? And here's the thing. There was a period of time in my life where I had a little bit of fondness for fucking Africa. I mean, Toto's Africa.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love the continent, right?
It's a bang, isn't it?
But, I had a little bit of fondness for it. But then, it started to go viral again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so the first person who fucked it up is Seth MacFarlane.
Why? What did he do with it?
It was on like every episode of Family Guy
Was
ever.
it?
Nah, it's been in there a lot. He's made jokes around Toto's Africa. I'm pretty sure. Isn't there the one where what's the wheelchair dude? Joe.
Joe, yeah.
The wheelchair dude. There's a bit where he meets his wife Bonnie or whatever in a strip club, and Africa starts playing, and then they've made multiple jokes about it. Like, also, can we just say Seth MacFarlane? What a fucking hack he turned out to be. What a fucking hack he turned out to be.
What's he done recently?
Have you ever watched The Orville?
The Orville, no. How's he got?
It's
Orville, yeah. Who is your very best friend?
It's like a Star Trek parody. It's garbage. It's basically like every time Seth MacFarlane makes a movie or a show right now, it's like it's just all about him. Like he has just hit peak levels of narcissism that we haven't even charted since Fred.
Yeah, he started being like that a
Durst.
bit when he started doing the roasts.
Yeah, oh mate,
He
mental.
got his taste for comedy, and I think
Mental.
he's like,
And it's a shame
I can
because
do
you know
this
Ted
stand-up
was
shit.
all right. Ted was an okay movie. That one, what was it? A Million Ways to Die in the West, or whatever the fuck it was called. Absolute garbage.
I've seen it.
Absolute garbage. It's like, you know, when you're right. Mel Brooks wouldn't have done a joke about a guy uncontrollably shitting in his hat in Blazing Saddles, and that was the 70s, and no one really knew what the fuck was going on with comedy back then. So fuck Seth MacFarlane. So he was the first guy to really start fucking up Africa as a song. And then there was a YouTube video, right, where it was a choir. You've seen this one.
I don't know.
It's a choir, and
Singing Africa.
and they make the rain with like I don't know, like you know what I'm talking about. You've all seen that video, and it's
rain,
fucking.
I think it's literally called a rainmaker, by the way.
Well, whatever.
That
There was this fucking. I remember it. Like back when I used to use Facebook before the Russians took over. I was there on fucking Facebook, and it would just be like this a cappella version of Toto's Africa
blowing
will
you
give
away.
you chills.
Yeah.
It didn't give me chills. It made me fucking sick. It made me realize that the song is some of the most overplayed, overhyped shit of all
Why do you
time.
just hate everything? You have to hate Africa as well. Why is Toto's Africa got to be in the firing line? Leave something pure, mate. There's no wrong. Bless the rains. There's no
Right.
wrong with Toto's
It's
Africa.
a fucking joke, Sam.
It's fine.
And then
it's fine.
And then for some reason, it just started blowing up again these last few fucking months.
Yeah, I know.
Where we can't even do a Twitch stream. They're trying to make it the new
Toto's
Darude
Africa,
Sandstorm.
yeah, I know.
They're trying to make it the new Darude Sandstorm. It isn't. It isn't. And that joke organically sprung up because it was overplayed shit and everybody knew it. That's what made me laugh when Darude went to DreamHack that one time. And he was like, hey guys, y'all love fucking... Y'all love me. No, we actually think you're shit.
And he didn't. He kept cock teasing the sandstorm.
Yeah, he was doing what you were doing. He was Here's another song you've never heard of. And everyone's just like, play the fucking one song. Play the one song.
Do
you're
the
famous
catchphrase, basically.
Do the catchphrase. Look, right? Yeah, but like literally, he thought everyone was fucking hyped for him. You're a fucking meme, you idiot. No one cares. You're not good. No one's here because you're good. They're here because it's a joke and you're the punchline. You're the butt of the joke. You fucking idiot. Did no one tell you this when you took the booking? It's like DJ Khaled at the Overwatch thing. No one knew any of the songs because does he even do songs?
Say another one. Say another one.
Yeah, here's what I know DJ Khaled for. Saying he doesn't eat pussy because he's fucking weird and thinks that's an acceptable thing to say. That, you know, like, I don't eat pussy, but you're definitely sucking my dick. What a great date he is. And that embarrassing, fucked up, borderline sex tape he did, where it literally looked like a man who'd been paralyzed trying to get up and walk. And there was a woman underneath him. Fuck DJ Khaled as well. You're a joke.
Another one.
Yeah, a fucking idiot. Right?
Another one.
So it started blowing up again. Started fucking blowing up again. And every time you put on a stream, play Toto's Africa. Hate you cunts, by the way. And then Weezer. Oh my God, Weezer.
Well, the band.
Yeah, they covered it, mate. Covered it recently.
Yeah, but fair enough. They're just looking for
To
something
cash
grab
in.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
obviously they went to Toto, like, we'll give you 20% or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck it was
obviously.
to do the cover, you know?
Probably more. Probably 50-50.
And now this. Now this. Burger King UK, Sam. Right? They got the 1,000 retweets is the point.
Obviously, 1,000. Not exactly high bar.
Yeah, and
for
1,000
Burger King, is it?
retweets. 1,000 people support abusive workers. That's all that says to me, Sam.
What?
Actually, I haven't even seen what it finally got. Let's have a look. Let's see how many cruel savages retweeted this. 6,000 of you were... Oh, no. Almost 7,000 of you were scum. 6,690. You're all scum. So anyway, a Burger King in Camden Town is playing it on constant repeat for an 8-hour shift. Now imagine that's where you work, right? Because I guarantee all you little bitches in the chat are like, I love Toes Africa, ironically. See how
in
you
the
feel?
chair,
Yeah,
put
yeah,
your
yeah.
headphones
All right,
on.
then. Let's upload your YouTube video. Man listens to Toto's Africa strapped to a chair for 8 hours. Let's see how you're doing by hour 4. Yeah?
See if you haven't involved some sort of coping techniques, fucking fetal positioning.
That is absolute garbage. Put it this way, I would just be like, listen, I'm not coming in. I'm not coming in for that.
Oh, I know people like
Didn't
who
sign up
get
for this,
earplugs and shit when they, because like the repeating music I view quite a lot, and they just get earplugs. They'll just put in their own earphones.
You know, it's just ridiculous. Apparently, it gets played 108 times. Someone did the fucking math, because of course you did. Of course you did the fucking math, internet. Get me the fuck out. It reminds me. Remember that fucking episode of The Simpsons where that guy just comes in? I can't remember what the premise for this is, but like they're like looking at all the stuff that just goes on, and this guy just comes in and goes, "I am the angel of death. The time of purification is at hand." I would be so far fucking gone by about the 20th time. Captain Oates, I'm going out for a walk, maybe sometime. Fuck me. Britain. Why is that allowed? Okay, how are we doing for time? I always ask this.
We are an hour 35-ish in.
I think it's great that I squeezed 90 minutes out of the UK being shit, by the way. Never let it be said, you know, like...
And Toto.
Yeah, and Toto, of course. Improvisational comedy, you know, like, fuck. It takes some doing. But when you've got the good raw material coming on the way in... the thing is, as well, I don't even know if I can do the second half of the show, because it goes...
brain tumor is kicking in.
No, it's not that. It's just serious again, isn't it? So I
don't know if I can do the second half of the show, because I can smell burnt toast, and the left side of my face just went numb, so I think...
Well, no, I planned out this whole thing about journalism and, you know, how they're, like, comparing themselves to veterans now. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, I did see that.
Did you see that CNN?
Yeah, CNN said, yeah. We must respect the Marines, but we also must respect the work of the journalists.
It's like, come on, mate.
Same thing.
You go into a Trump rally and getting called fake news isn't the same as going to a war zone and getting shot in the fucking face. I can't even believe that we're having this comparison right now, but we are. And again, it ties in with everything I've said about like this modern cabal of journalists being these like sort of vapid, shallow, narcissistic pieces of shit, you know. That's all they are. But it's okay. Don't worry. I've got a couple of other things that I think we can sort of stretch out for comedy value. And then we'll just do the Enemy of the People show. I certainly do want another beer. Yes, thanks, Sam. We can stretch out the Enemy of the People show. And then, listen, I don't know how you feel about this, Sam, but that probably got picked up on the microphone. I wanted to do kind of an episode on the Alex Jones thing, him being deplatformed. I didn't want to do that. I think you've got to talk about that.
Yeah. Fucking hell, mate. Hang on. Worth a discussion.
Yeah, good, excellent. You know, and the reason I want to... Oh, wow, you let them freeze, dude. Like... Look at that.
I didn't know beer would freeze that quick.
I told you, man. Mate, I live in Nevada. That's a cool fucking freezer. Guess I'm not having that then. Can I take a warm beer I can drink, mate? Is that all right with you?
Oh, mate, that's slushy. That's lovely. It's only the froth. Look, it's good, that is.
All right, well, you get it. Put it in a glass then. Figure it out. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, no, I'm not drinking that, mate. It looks like something that's come out of your ass. There's no chance, but look at the state. No, get me a warm one. Mate, you got to smash that glass. Just get me a warm one. Here's a weird comment. Appreciate it, though, Hoyt J. Richard really liked what you said about Crohn's disease on the last By the Numbers. Or I only stated medical facts, but thank you, I guess. No, oh, that just looks foul, dude. Oh, mate. Mate. This is fucking... Now we've gone into slapstick. Oh, sound like... You're a fucking omni-shambles, but... I'm not drinking that.
You gotta taste it.
Why?
Why not?
Look at it.
Why not? Do it for the vine, mate.
Do it for the...
Do it for the vine.
What?
I was happy and slush, mate.
Have a taste of that foam, mate. Oh, fucking hell, that's hanging. That is hanging. Bet it's not, like. Taste it. Look at you, the clip on you. It's fucking gross, isn't it? Nah. Right, you have it then.
I mean, it's not my preferred drink.
No, well, look. I'll take a warm one, please, Trey. Take a nice warm beer. Thanks. Nah, fucking no cider, please. Told you, I'm in rehab. So it's beer and whiskey is fine. Everything else is off the table. So. Oh God, I was really bad, mate. I have eaten unwashed assholes that taste better. Again, not true. Thank you. Lovely warm beer. Oh, right. Anyway.
Head all that up.
I don't know. That's staying in, as a wise man once said. So anyway, yeah. I've got a couple of bits that we can use for sort of comedy. And then we'll just wrap up the show a little bit early. Because there's no point in doing the whole enemy of the people thing. But right. Did you see there have been some elections for like mayors and that kind of thing across America ahead of the big ones, the midterms? Well, there was one candidate that I could fucking get behind, and he won. And he won bigly, I believe is what I'm supposed to say. So do you know who Glenn Jacobs is?
I've heard of John Jacobs.
Jingle
Schmidt. Got him. God. What? You never heard of John Jingle Schmidt? John Jacob Jingle Schmidt. His name is my name too. Come on, man.
Hey, what? No, I've never heard that.
Oh, chat love that, man.
What are you doing?
Chat love that,
man. I'm good. I'm glad you've become a meme. You are the Toto's Africa of producers. Congratulations.
Everyone's joined in. There you go.
Anyway, right, you can come back on. Get Sam Cam on for this. I want to see your reaction. So, right. Glenn Jacobs.
Hang on, I've not my fucking webcam.
Fuck me, man.
Well, it's your fault for fucking complaining about slushy. If you just drunk slushy.
No way.
I wouldn't have to keep getting up, would I?
That would have put me in the hospital, that would.
I'll put it in the hospital.
Got him. Right, well, anyway, so Glenn Jacobs is the big red machine. It's Kane.
Big?
Right?
Is he wearing the mask?
he is in this report.
Nice.
But anyway, he ran as a Republican for the mayor of a very popular, big county in Tennessee, Knox County, I believe it's called. And he won. He won by a landslide.
A landslide?
A landslide. Well, I mean, obviously, a Republican was always going to...
is it just... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it more just because he was Republican, or were people behind Kane? Where they were like, fuck yeah, Kane. Like,
well, I mean, we'll never know. I mean, had I known this was coming, I would have probably gone out there.
Oh, yeah.
Covered it. That would have been banter.
Hunter S. Thompson style. Let's do some gonzo journalism at the Kane election.
But I love it, right? Because, first of all, he's a Trump supporter, so it drives everyone crazy. Second of all, he's called the Big Red Machine, which is what we call the GOP anyway. And then here's the other beautiful part of it, right? You know how like Democrats are all like, God, Trump supporters hate immigrants and blah blah usual shit. Well, he is an immigrant. He was born in Spain, right, and moved to America, and then grew up in Missouri. And the reason nobody knows this, of course, is because when he's in the fucking WWE, like they put down he's from hell or parts unknown.
Yeah.
Which actually didn't Parts Unknown start with the Ultimate Warrior?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the first ever Parts Unknown guy was the Ultimate Warrior. It might have been Kamala, maybe. But I'm pretty sure it was the Ultimate Warrior.
My wrestling law, mate. I was going to say WWF, but it wasn't even called that at the start.
Yeah, no, I know, right? That's another thing. Another reason to hate pandas. Like, how dare you, WWF? How dare you take away the real WWF? You know, the World Wildlife Foundation. Fuck you. Fuck you. You can be called something else. You know,
I know. The worst part is that's what gave up the secret. Not the secret, because obviously everyone knows it's fake, it's fake. But the kids, I remember because I was like a kid at the time, and my mates were like, "Wait, it's called World Wrestling Entertainment."
Yeah, exactly. It's gross, isn't it?
Why,
it's fucking gross.
Why is it entertainment? I thought they were supposed to be fighting and that, ain't they?
Oh, come on!
It's like getting told Santa wasn't real.
Grow up. People in the chat, why do you hate pandas? If you're not gonna fuck to keep your species alive, I've got no fucking respect for you.
Yeah, exactly. If you inlay the pipe, what is this mad shit? I gotta play panda porn.
The worst part is you've seen that, right? Where it's like they take a fucking female panda that's in heat, they put them in an enclosure with like some randy male pandas, and the male pandas just sit there.
Yeah.
Can I have some more bamboo? Fuck off, mate. You've been jacked up on the soy for too long. It's over for your species. I'm not saying the humans didn't play a part. I'm not saying we didn't destroy the one thing you eat en masse. But maybe if you only eat one thing, like, it was never really going to work out for you fucking long term. It was never going to work out long term.
But when you learn to like fucking celery or something.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's so retarded, isn't it? How is this real?
That is mental.
You eat one thing and you don't enjoy fucking. It was never going to work out.
Yeah,
we could never have existed. Like, pandas, we're keeping the pandas alive. Fucking arseholes, Ling Ling and whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure pandas would have died out even without, I don't know. I'd have to look into how much human interaction there was. But I feel like pandas are just destined to die. If you don't like fucking and you don't like eating, like, well, all you do is just lay there. Like,
no, literally, you're just lying
there. You
there.
Gotta enjoy fucking.
Does the panda want to fuck? What about this?
Bed.
You want something? It's not bamboo shoots, but these chestnuts are really nice.
Don't taste exactly the same, so I don't want them.
Yeah, I just want the bamboo.
I can only taste exactly the same things.
Fucking bamboo, mate. Like, straight fuck you.
Fucking diet.
Oh, and then on top of this, right, they're portrayed. This is the other thing. You want to talk about powerful lobbies in America? The panda lobby is the most powerful of all because everyone thinks pandas are cute. They're not, man. They're bears. They're cunts.
I don't know.
They're lazy bears.
Yeah, exactly.
Lazy, impotent bears who are fussy with what food they eat.
Yeah, that is cute, though.
They straight attack people.
Nah, they don't. I've never seen a
go
panda
look up.
fuck someone.
I got type in the word panda mauling.
Yeah, I'm sure it does exist, but like I've seen videos of people walking into a panda close.
Yeah.
They usually are, right?
According to fucking DuckTales and all the fucking Disney guys who were on board with the panda, like, panda would never...
Oh, no.
It's bollocks.
They're definitely not, like, the most prone to attack. Like, I definitely trust a fucking panda more than a chimp. I would definitely not like to be in a room with a chimp.
I don't know about that.
No.
Depends on the chimp. Chimps have personality.
No.
Pandas are just one fucking homogenous.
Have really fucking sharp teeth and fucking strong arms, but
mate, I've seen that documentary where them chimps fucking hunt down the Colobus monkeys and rip them apart.
The dead, what's that? The world's like.
Yeah, and I've seen that video where that pet chimp. But didn't that pet chimp? Didn't someone give it a hit of crack or something, and then it fucking wrecked that woman a bit of face off?
Why would anyone be giving a chimp crack? Who's slipping?
I don't know.
People why would you start the crack as well? Shouldn't you give it a bit of weed before you go straight to fucking crack?
Come here,
give it a gateway drug, mate. Yeah, you can't put him straight to crack.
Maybe I imagine that bit.
Yeah, that can't be real. Unless
but they fed it booze or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It got fucking mad agitated and just bit someone's face off, which they can definitely do at any time they want.
Yeah, exactly. But whereas a panda... I don't know, a fully grown panda.
I almost respect that more. Like, a panda can obviously bite your face off, but they're too busy feeling sorry for themselves. And you want me bamboo?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
they're chill as fuck.
No, honestly, mate, come on. Unless it later turned out, right, further down the road, that actually the cure to cancer was inside panda DNA all along.
What if it is, though?
It's not, though, is it?
What if it is, though?
Pandas are completely
useless. It's been said to, like, the cure to cancer could be found in sharks. They
even fucked up World of Warcraft. Let's be real.
Yeah, but they didn't put the character in. They were merely alive.
But if they died out before
they probably would have put them in.
If they died out before them, plus
it would have
Kung
been a
Fu
tribute
Panda,
species.
Jack Black is terrible.
You hate Jack Black.
I do hate Jack
We've
Black.
had discussion before. It's because I don't know, but you hate all stoner films and like stoner comedy.
Definitely don't
like
love that one with Seth Rogen and James Franco. Pineapple Express.
Oh, it's dog
I think
shit.
that's brilliant.
Like that
and I love Cheech and Chong.
I don't like that one either.
Well, exactly. So
well, I do. I like Cheech and Chong, but it's not the greatest. It's not my kind of fun film.
Jack Black is fucking terrible. He is a cancer to the movie
business. I think this is a generation thing because like everyone I speak to my age,
he's my generation.
Yeah, I know, but everyone I speak to like my age lower loved fucking Pick of Destiny when they were younger.
Yeah, all right. Let's start with Tenacious D.
Yeah,
garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Garbage.
That's what I mean.
And if you went to university,
everyone's saying Tenacious D is the exception. That's what I mean. Everyone loves that.
If you went to university, when I went to university, let me tell you, two things would happen. Right, two things would happen. You'd get some wide cunt would come in and put on the entirety of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, because you could actually put on the entire album for 50p. And it's about 10 years long, and it's unreasonable, right? Or, which I don't mind, because I like Pink Floyd, but then the other thing people would do is, what's that meme song? Is it tribute? Can we put tribute on?
Yeah.
Can we put a Travi tribute on? And they would put tribute on. And then they would sing along with it loud, and I'd be in the bar, and I'm like, I'm not a loser. Can this stop?
You're just sad about it, mate.
No, I'm not sad about it.
You missed the boat. You missed the boat, mate.
Right.
So you're one of those people who are sad about the
sing
along while everyone else is singing along, mate. Maybe it's your
singing
issue.
along to a garbage,
it is
song. It doesn't succeed musically.
Nah, but it's the
it
memory,
doesn't succeed on a comedy level.
It's in the movie, though, but it's in the fucking movie.
Right. The movie's garbage. The album's garbage. What are the other songs that Tenacious D did? Come on, it wasn't just tribute.
They did a new album recently.
No, fuck that.
All right, well, what do you mean then? One's from the classic, movie.
Yeah, the album everyone played.
The start one.
Oh, what was the other one?
When he was a kid.
You gotta fuck her hard or whatever.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah,
just so unfunny. And also, as well,
one
by the way,
Yeti,
if Blurred Lines is getting fucking banned, why does Jack Black, with sometimes you just gotta fuck her hard, weird, creepy vibes getting away with it? Why is that fine? No, fuck Jack Black.
I can't remember the lyrics, but I think he's talking about fucking his girlfriend, and Blurred Lines is more about non-consensual rape.
Right.
Bit different.
And then moving on from that. Right? Name me a movie he was in, apart from School of Rock,
Shallow Hal,
where he didn't make the film worse by his mere presence.
Shallow Hal. Wrecked.
Name me another one.
Exactly. Nah, fuck you. Already right. You can't change the rules.
Mate, and that one film.
Yeah. He hasn't done that, mate. He did like stoner films, but...
He ruined King Kong. He ruined the remake of King Kong. Killed it.
Tropic Thunder. He was good in Tropic
Garbage
Thunder.
Not having it. Not having
definitely
it.
Good in Tropic Thunder.
And actually, thank you.
Naturally.
No. Thank you, Egregious Facker. He's done it. Yes, I forgot about this part, didn't I? I forgot about this part of his life. Do you want to know why Jack Black has a career? Because he starred in that stupid fucking High Fidelity movie. And because he got a few fucking comedy lines, which he didn't write himself. It was in the fucking book, you fucking idiots. Everyone went, oh, Jack Black really made that movie because he was the comic relief. He was the comic relief. Anyone could have said those lines. You can get any other fat idiot to say it. Jack Black. You can get any other fat idiot. You can get any
Jack
other
Black's
fat
never coming
idiot.
on a podcast. Gone. Fucking gone. I just wrote an email to him. Gone.
You can get any other fat idiot to sit in that chair and say those fucking lines. Jack Black is talentless shit. It is disgusting. Also, as well, and this is really unnecessary, but I'm just going to add this. I watched this documentary where Jack Black went to Africa. And I
did he bless the rings?
No, listen though, we're back to Toto. He went to Africa, right? And this is such an unreasonable reason. I know this is unreasonable. I hate him for this, but okay. So he did this bit where he met this kid, and it was like a heartbreaking story about this kid who like lives in garbage and is constantly hustling, but he's working hard,
right?
And he's really bright and really good, and he wants to come to America one day and make his life. And Jack Black's spending time with him, right? And at the end, there's this scene, right, where the kid is sort of crying and saying, like, "Can you take me with you?" Right. And you're like, this is where you have the emotional connection. This is where the human in you, like, I don't know, maybe you do. Okay, but maybe not. Maybe that's an unreasonable thing. Maybe you can't save every life.
Not even
that's
if you
fine.
wanted
No,
to.
no, that's fine. But maybe you sort of, hug the kid and cry and say, listen, like, I'm going to pull some strings. We're
Give
gonna
you
work
some
on
money
something.
at least, yeah.
We'll give you... None of that. None of that.
All right.
None of that. He's just going, nah, I can't, mate. Like, it was like watching Thorin. It was so emotionless. He was just like, no, I can't help you, mate. Sorry about that.
Ain't got no change, sorry, mate.
Sorry, that's just
no big issue today.
it's just the way the world works. Sorry, kid.
Fucking
It's
hell.
just the way the world. And then it cuts to a scene of him alone after they've took the crying kid away, and he goes, "Yeah, I had to take a break there. I was like tearing up. It's just tragic, isn't it? Fuck you, Jack Black. You fucking
that's
heartless
outrageous.
monster."
I would at least go like, fuck, no, I can't, but I'll give you 20 grand. Like, come on. Consider how much money he must have. Give him.
You can
at least
say,
just
"Look,
give
I'm
him-
not Madonna. I'm not going to adopt you."
Yeah, but here's some cash.
But
You
when I
can
get
live good.
home,
Yeah.
I'm going to pull some fucking strings,
Yeah,
get you in a
exactly.
program,
Build you a house, something.
Didn't do any of that, of course. Fuck Jack Black. Right, why are we talking about Jack Black?
Because you ate him.
Oh, yeah, good. Glad we had a good reason. No, we got there from Pandas.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, actually, if it was a toss-up between Save the Panda or Save Jack Black, we can only
At
have
least Jack Black fucks. And he'll eat whatever you give him.
That's true, actually.
He's
He
not a
definitely
picky
will.
eater,
He
mate.
definitely will. But nah, I think I would still sign up to put all the resources into saving pandas, actually.
Nah,
like,
come
if it was like, we can only... Right, Richard, society's going to be limited in the future. Here's what we got to do. We got to make a choice between pandas and Jack Black. I'm going to be like, yeah, keep them fucking... I always love pandas.
I mean,
mate.
if it's all
Always
pandas or
a
one
panda.
Jack Black, I'm going to have to go with all pandas, I guess. But I'm not saying kill Jack Black. We just don't put
No,
all
I'm not
these-
saying kill him.
No, I'm not
saying we just don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to take him forward into the next glorious fucking world that we build for ourselves.
Well,
or if it's ever a survival situation, what's going to be more use long term? A couple of pandas that don't
panda
fuck?
or a Jack
Or Jack Black? What's
I
Jack
don't
Black
know,
going to
Jack
do?
Black could
Jack Black.
sing a funny song.
Yeah, here it is. Give me a guitar.
Jesus, can
Mate,
you hear me?
if there was one guitar on the island and I even saw Jack Black look at it, I'd smash it over his fucking head. Enough's enough, Jack Black. Your
why
songs
you-
aren't fucking funny, mate.
Oh, you're a hater, mate. You were a
He's
classic
shit.
hater.
He's shit. He's shit, mate. Come on, get a fucking grip.
Block out the haters, mate. Just blocking out those haters.
Anyway, let's wrap up the show.
Straight to bed.
Straight to bed. So there were a couple of things that I had left on the list of comedy, I suppose. Let me just see if I can find them. Misplaced them now. So yes, Steven Seagal always. Always ripe for comedy, a regular on the show for that fucking reason, of course. How has this happened? So obviously, look, there's a lot of talk right now about Russian collusion. It's still right. Okay, here's what we know, and here's what is true. We know that. For the banter, I believe. Like, here's the thing. Like, Putin is having people poisoned, but we're not talking about that as much as we probably should
Allegedly.
That isn't going to save us from Putin, is it, right?
I didn't say nothing.
I'm never going to Russia. Made my plan.
Where do you think he was poisoning them, bud? They weren't in fucking Russia either.
Yeah, true.
That's
actually.
why you're scary.
On reflection, time stamp.
Edit it out. Straight to bed.
Right, now, straight to dead.
What about you wrote for Breitbart? You wouldn't kill who? He knows what. You're on the same team, I've read.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You're on the same
Me,
team.
me, and Stevie
you
Bannon.
you and fucking people.
Me
like
and
this.
Stevie Bannon. I used to love hanging out with Steve Bannon because he used to make me look so good. Like, people used to come up to me when I was next to Steve Bannon, who literally looks like a special effect from a movie where a human has been
Oh, look, it's
infected
politics,
with a
Chris
virus.
Harvey.
Yeah, and people used to come
Chris
up to me and
Farley.
go, "Oh, fucking hell, you're looking good, Rich." Now I'm just next to Steve Bannon. I'm terrible. I'm in bad shape. Anyway, you're right, Sam. Putin's never killed anybody. But he has, and there's look, we can't lie about it. There have been some suspicious deaths that have benefited Putin for and it's been going on for years in Russia. This is another thing that makes me laugh when I see like CNN. Pity us. We live in Trump's America, and he's encouraging hate against journalists. In Russia, they kill people like you right? And it's even worse because you actually do demonstrably lie over here. You don't even get the chance to tell the truth in Russia. Putin's got ties to big business. And there's an umbrella full of polonium just fired into your fucking chops. Like, deal with that. So, anyway, here's what we do know, okay? That a bunch of people basically thought it would be fun, I suppose, to just see if they could subvert the election and create conflict in America. Now, I don't know why you would want to do this if you weren't ever poised to take advantage of it. But I guess in a way, a lot of countries do feel that America has terrible foreign policy and has unduly interfered with a bunch of shit all around the world, right? Never heard that, right? And of course they have. They have rigged the outcome of elections. They have propped up fascist dictatorial regimes. They have been involved in, black ops that fucking assassinate people that affect interests, for America. Of course they've been involved in all of this. It's incredibly puritanical, by the way, if you come out and you say, Russian interference in our election, which literally amounts to a few Twitter accounts and some Facebook groups, is an act of war. All right then, mate. What about that time in Iran? Is this real? Can American people really not see what's going on here? I can't believe that. The Americans I talk to are a lot more informed than what everyone else in the world says they are. So anyway, fine. But what they did was they just basically, they had groups who were in favor of Hillary, and they had groups who were in favor of Trump, and they had groups that were just in the middle, just designed to upset people, and deliberately inflammatory groups. Like, didn't they create some fake Black Lives Matter page? Things like that. This all came out. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, the reality is that there is still no proof of collusion with the Trump campaign. The closest we've got to that is Trump's son having a meeting with somebody who was already cleared by Obama to come to America as a matter of course to get dirt on Hillary, while at the same time Hillary was meeting with Ukrainians to get dirt on Trump. Whatever. We can't talk about the latter. That makes you a racist, obviously. But that's as far as we've got. There isn't a collusion story yet, and I don't think there ever will be, because the idea that Putin interfered with the election directly and propped up the Trump campaign makes no sense. It doesn't even make sense when you look at these groups that supposedly rose up, because some did support Hillary, some were against Trump. It was about sowing civil disorder and discontent. The Russians didn't even realize you didn't have to do that. All you had to do was just let the fucking media do it. The media have been doing exactly what these Russian accounts were supposed to do. The media come out and tell you if you support Trump, you're a racist. Immediately puts people's nose out of joint. That puts the back up. They also say that, the groups that have been, affiliated with activities I might call terrorism, perfectly fine. That puts people's noses out of joint. We've also got to pretend, of course, as well, that the media played no part in ramping up the rhetoric. Hashtag the resistance. We must kill the GOP. We must take them down. They're trying to destroy America, people. And then Scalia gets shot, and everyone goes, that wasn't us.
Resist.
Yeah. But about these Russians. Yep. Scalia's holding his guts in because some fucking Bernie supporting lunatic jacked up on media rhetoric goes and opens fire on politicians, but I'm supposed to get upset about this guy over here saying the bad thing. Whatever. And this is truth. This is just straight truth. This isn't Alex Jones conspiracy theories. This isn't crisis acts. This is just all observable truth that people will not talk about. But anyway, here's what we talk about instead. We talk about Russian collusion, fake Russians. Russians everywhere. Russians controlling everything. Now it's become a dismissive thing. If you say to somebody, I disagree with your extreme left position, they go, you're a Russian bot. You're a Russian bot account. You work for Putin. How does Putin's cock taste? All of this shit. You're like, nah, I just don't agree with you.
Sorry. The
media constantly gives them an out. If you want to adopt any position that is, slightly to the right of extreme left. So,
Russian, I don't know why, and I've said this multiple times, I don't know why there are certain factions within America that want to go back to the bad old days. I grew up during the Cold War. I remember tensions with Russia, which we all know, by the way. We were on course for World War III with Russia until Rocky IV came out. We all know that's exactly what happened. No, this is history, Sam. I'm teaching you. You weren't alive, Sam. I was there. Let me tell you. I woke up one day.
That's how mental the world is, by the way, that a world war was stopped by a Rocky film.
I mean, I'm exaggerating. But I will certainly say
It helped.
it played a part, right? Here's what happened. I woke up one day. My mother was cradling me in my arms already. I thought this was weird. And she said, Richard, it's all
Nukes
over.
are coming.
She said, it's all over. We're all going to die. Russia and America have gone to war, and unfortunately the UK will just be collateral damage. And I said, Mother, what does collateral damage mean? That's a strange term. And she says, it's when you get killed kind of as a bystander, kind of just in the middle of something you didn't really play any part in. It's not your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I said, well, how are we in the wrong place? I thought we were friends with America and with Russia. I thought we were Britain, Great Britain, I said. And she said, it's just complicated. The world's changing, and let's just sit here and wait for the missiles to land. And I said, okay, Mum, it's been a good ride, you know. Sure, I'm only 8, but I've led a full life, and we'll just wait. And then she said, I'll tell you what, Richard, since it's our last day on Earth because the war between America and Russia is ramped up and we're probably all going to die, why don't we go to the cinema? We'll go to the cinema. And we'll watch this film that's just come out today. You remember Rocky? And I went, oh, is that the one about the boxer, Mum? And she said, yeah, it's about the funny boxer, the one
Who talks like he's on crack.
Yeah, you remember? You remember that series of films that should have only been one film? You remember that series of films that literally should have stopped at the first film because every subsequent sequel completely ignored the point of the original? I said, yes, Mum, I do know about that. I do remember those films. She said, you know the one with the guy who tries to come off as charismatic but is just incredibly stupid? Yeah. You know the one who's got a voice that can barely talk at all?
Remember that series of films that drove an old man into becoming a stuttering mess because of the drugs he was forced to take in order to keep up that physical form, allegedly. I
said, yes, Mum, I do remember those films. So anyway, we went to the pictures, as it was called back then. And we watched Rocky IV. And Rocky IV is incredibly sad. Because obviously, Apollo Creed comes out of retirement and gets killed. If I'm getting my Rockies correct. It's been many a year. And, I was sure I could hear the bombs whistling overhead. But what happened was, at the end of Rocky IV, he goes to Russia and he beats the steroid-addled, borderline cybernetic freak that is Ivan Drago. And at the end, while it's a win for America, instead of doing a dance and waving the flag like Apollo Creed probably would have done, because he was a patriot like that, was great Apollo Creed. Rocky takes his time. He's all beat up. He's got eyes like sheep's cunts, as they say.
Who says?
Never been in a boxing gym, if you've never heard that phrase. A Welsh boxing gym, I'll add specifically. And he looks out to the crowd and everyone in the crowd for some reason is in the Russian military. I guess that's just how they live in Russia, or did back then. And he says, listen, I came out here and I had a problem with Russia. I'm not going to do the voice. I'll do the voice at the end. But I learned that we're all the same and we're all good people. And if I can change, you can change. And I looked over at my mother and I said, Mother, why is he talking like that guy from the Goonies? And she said, shh, listen to the film. And I said, okay. And then what I noticed was in the crowd.
I was watching Helen Keller on TV.
And I look back at the cinema, look back at the screen, and all the Russians in their military outfits, they all looked at one another. And then a voice broke out. Rocky, 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 Rocky. And the whole crowd began to chant Rocky. And he put an American flag over his shoulders, nodding look and a pat against Ivan Drago, and he walked out of there. And I said, wow, what an amazing film, Mum. Wouldn't it be great if the world was like that? And she said, it's just a pipe dream, son. It's just a pipe dream. But then we stepped out of that cinema, and there were no bombs overhead. And we quickly ran to a television. We were like, well, what's going on? Why are we not all dead and destroyed? And there it was on the news. Rocky IV averts war. It was a great day, Sam. It was one that stayed with me forever.
And a great rhyme.
Yeah. And since then, I've always thought to myself, isn't it great that these two superpowers that have the capacity to just blow each other the fuck up have always appreciated each other's culture despite certain differences and certain different outlooks and tried principally to work together? Isn't that a good thing? And I've noticed of late, right? I just want to add that entire story was a lie. I can't believe people are... Do I need to say that? Doesn't that kind of spoil the joke when you have to do that? I don't know. Yeah, that was just all a lie. It's but I've always thought people... Oh my God. Come on, you got to be better than this. This can't be my audience. I didn't sign up for this. But anyway, I've always thought it was good that America and Russia weren't at war with each other. And even though Russia have certainly had a little tinker with the election and Putin's gone around poisoning people, I think we need to kind of find out a way to kind of make it all work together. And let's be real, we've made it work with fucking countries like Saudi Arabia, who are just, beheading people for banter. So I think we can certainly make it work with Russia. We can find that common ground. I know Russia doesn't have as much oil, but let's try and make it work, eh? So anyway, Russia have realized this. They've realized there's some problems, that tensions are high, and they've got the perfect guy to fix everything. So, not Rocky, which for me, or not Ivan Drago.
It's your boy Steve.
This is where Steven Seagal comes in. It just blows my mind. This was in Reuters. And it says here, Russia tasks Hollywood actor Seagal. They've already fucked up in the first... When was Seagal last in a Hollywood production? When was Steven Seagal last in a Hollywood movie? Seriously. Was it Under Siege? Like, how far back do we need to go to find Steven Seagal being involved in Hollywood? He's involved in a bunch of straight-to-video shit. So anyway, they fucked up a media. That's fine. No.
Trump's president and Steve Seagal's special representation between Russia and the US, by the way. Just let that sink in.
Right? So it says here, Russians... This is absolutely true. Russia's foreign ministry said on Saturday, this is official from the foreign ministry of Russia, it had made U.S. actor Steven Seagal its special representative for Russian-U.S. humanitarian ties. A role, it said, was meant to deepen cultural, art, and youth ties between the two countries. Well, immediately I see the problem. Because everyone hates Steven Seagal in America, and if you don't hate Steven Seagal, you at least acknowledge he's a fat, washed-up fraud. I know, I almost feel that, like, Putin has gone, yeah, we, America wants us to do something to show that we deeply care and respect, having America's respect, so, and I'm not down with that, but what can we do that's the ultimate troll? Shall we get Steven Seagal? It would be like appointing, I don't know, Stephen Hawking as, the fucking athletics minister or something. Come on. Actually, that's
way worse. I mean, it's way worse to elect Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least Stephen Hawking was good at something.
Yeah, at least he's intelligent. He can still come up with a system. It doesn't matter if his legs don't work. He still knows what sports is. You know what I mean?
All right,
still comprehend it.
R.I.P. Hawking.
I know, God knows.
You know what, though? I will say this as well. We do need to come up with a go-to example of someone in a wheelchair now that Stephen Hawking's dead.
Yeah, true.
It can't. It's like, how Stevie Wonder's still the blind
he's
guy.
The blind one,
He's the blind guy. Did see a great YouTube comment on
Mini-Me's dead. You can't use him as a small guy as well. No?
Yeah, I know. See, we really got to update things.
I don't even know. Who would you have as the next dwarf? Who's the famous acting dwarf? Warwick Davis.
Wee Man. Oh yeah, Warwick Davis, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. Wee Man's probably more famous. Definitely in America, he's more famous.
Yeah, maybe. But he wasn't in Willow.
And also, he is called Wee Man. It's just a bit too obvious.
Yeah.
Look, you look like Wee Man. Pump this out.
Beetlejuice.
Beetle is the baddest. Can he know he's the best? Everyone did write Beetlejuice.
Yeah, everyone did write Beetlejuice.
Beetle's gonna die one day, man. It's gonna be sad as fuck.
You think?
No, I know. It's meant.
Right, all right. He's locked in a race with Artie. I don't want to fucking break your heart.
Beetle to live longer, man.
Like him and fucking Dinklage is on the come up, isn't he?
Yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Do you know what I think though? It's like Dinklage has it's like, and I can understand this because obviously if I was a dwarf, I wouldn't want to be just like the dwarf guy.
Yeah.
But like Peter Dinklage has completely beat that dwarf story. Like, Dinklage just gets cast and nobody mentions that he's a dwarf.
I remember there was a magazine did a hottest guys of one of those. Dinklage was number 2 hottest guy in fucking Game of Thrones.
No, but come on, real talk.
Voted by women. Yeah, he's good looking. But
we've come a long way since Time Bandits.
Yeah, but still, it's a bit. He's still got to make that work, dog. He's still 3'5" or something, whatever he is.
No, I don't think height matters to a lot of women or men.
No, it doesn't matter to the point where it's it alters your utility. He can't, you know what I mean? Unless it alters. I'm not saying.
Put it this way:
4'5" is a lot different.
Mini-Me was hideous. There was just no getting away from it. What was his name
he
again?
had a disease, Vern Troyer.
Yeah, Vern Troyer. And it's super sad he killed himself or whatever he did.
Did he?
Why didn't he?
I don't know.
I'm going to assume he did. Didn't he drink himself to death or something?
Nah, I don't think on purpose. I think he just always drank.
Right.
I don't know. I can't.
But anyway, I mean, real talk. If you did a lineup of famous little people, did they even like being called? What's wrong with dwarf?
No, because dwarf is an actual medical term.
Oh, okay.
Dwarf has a definition. I think it's where your limbs are short or something.
If you did a lineup of little people and you had to pick one,
if you did a line with a little person,
and you had to pick one to have sex with, Dinklage would win every time.
What kind of creepy brothel are you into, bud? What the fuck were you lining up dwarves?
Not only that, right? Actually, if you took just regular people and put Dinklage in the lineup, you'd finish ahead of some.
If we're just taking headshots, if we're taking passport photos, he's up there.
Oh, this show's so
best looking guy in a swimming pool,
This show's an abomination. This show is so bad.
Straight fire,
mate. Enjoy it while you can. It's only a matter of time before even jokes like this are off the fucking table. Comedy's dead. There you go. See, look, damn Richard. Rich is right. Mini-Me killed himself.
It does say alcohol intoxication.
Yeah, mate. He was, It's a fucking shame, but it's like a lot of people. The fucking life he showed to everyone, it weren't the fucking life he was leading privately. Like, Anthony Bourdain and all that shit. Like, you're out there, you're balling out of control. People think you're having a good time. You go home, you're fucking miserable. Vern Troyer was. I saw some people on the day Vern Troyer, his death was announced. People go, "Oh, what else can you expect?" Like, nah, that's outrageous. That's outrageous to tie his condition to why he did it. Because he did lead a fucking, really fucking full life and excelled in areas that most fucking people who don't have to deal with that shit fucking don't. But I mean, miserable depression, misery, it sneaks up on you. Anyway. Dinklage is fine. I'm seriously. Dinklage. Also, he's got a surname that sounds like a euphemism for fooling around.
I guess.
Yeah. Want to have some Dinklage, love? Yeah, bit of the old Dinklage. So I like him. Always liked him. And He played a giant in Infinity War, and no one said a fucking thing. He played a giant, mate.
Was he CGI? What do you mean?
Nah, mate, they stretched him. They cast him with littler people.
No, but what I mean, was he riding in a machine?
CGI?
Was he riding in a machine?
Was he CGI? Was
Maybe they just
Peter
filmed close
Dinklage
up?
a giant
No,
by
but
CGI?
they
Is this a
could
question?
zoom in. They could green screen him in, couldn't they? Make him fucking 7 foot in the green screen.
Was he CGI as a giant? Yeah, Sammy was CGI, you mad cunt. Fucking hell. Of course he was CGI.
Well, it's either that or he knows how to fucking, walk on stilts. I don't want to guess his fucking... He could have been in the circus. He could have learned.
Mate. He was CGI. Right. And no one said anything. He was a fucking giant. I mean, to be fair, he was a giant dwarf.
What?
Yeah.
How big's this dwarf?
A giant dwarf. It was bigger than Thor.
Who's he?
Right.
I missed this Harry Potter fucking...
No, you don't watch
crossover.
superhero
Nah,
movies, do you? Because you've never even read the comics.
They're all dog, man.
They're all
I'm
dog.
not fucking...
Jesus.
The way you think about Harry Potter is the same way I think about comic books and fucking superhero
Yeah,
things.
the difference is one of us is right.
They both got
Harry
shit
Potter is
storylines.
garbage.
They're both exactly the same, but as much as you don't
No,
want to
no.
accept it, they
No, no.
both have shit, predictable storylines with the same.
The
predictable-
movies, mate. A superhero movie might be comparable to a
Name
Harry
me a
Potter
superhero
movie.
film where like something different happened in the end.
But the comics compared to fucking Harry Potter books,
I bet I can predict every superhero comic book ever.
no chance.
He defeats a few enemies, then it gets difficult.
No.
Then there's a supreme enemy who defeats him a few
Bollocks.
times. Then he must
Bollocks.
overcome the supreme enemy. He wins in the end. The world is saved. Yeah.
It goes without saying. I'm not even going to throw the other stuff out, but like if you go, read like Batman, like Year One and by Frank Miller, and there's just so many good examples that sort of buck the trend. Like it's a great medium, and J.K. Rowling's a fucking hack. So, just saying. Anyway, let's get back to Steven Seagal and wrap this fucking show up, and me and you will fucking go watch that fucking thing about giant skeletons that God put there or something. So anyway, they decided to make Steven Seagal this special envoy to strengthen cultural ties. And I'll just read you here. The Russian Foreign Ministry likened Seagal's new role to that of a UN Goodwill ambassador and said that the actor, who is known for his martial arts prowess, I mean, is that true also anymore? Whatever.
Was he ever? He was known for moving his legs and arms around on TV. I don't know if he's known for his martial arts prowess.
I mean, there was a point, right?
Nah, mate, he's never... I don't think he's ever done any legit things. Like, maybe he's learned some legit kicks or something in a movie, but I don't think he's ever actually had any MMA or anything like that. Surely not.
There was that time he claimed he taught fucking Anderson Silva.
Yeah, exactly. Mentally elite, lies. Obviously lies.
No, but I mean, he was in. He appeared in Anderson Silva's corner. I think Anderson Silva would
Yeah,
let him.
obviously, because he's Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
wouldn't
get
have him
paid.
anywhere near. Like if Steven Seagal turned up. Like,
Yeah, but that was years ago. That was like UFC probably 90, back when Steven Seagal was probably
I can't
relevant.
remember. So anyway, it says there's a quote here. It's a case of people's diplomacy intersecting with traditional diplomacy, the ministry said. Seagal, who sometimes appears on Russian state television to talk about his views and career. Can you even imagine that? There's a channel that just lets Steven Seagal come on to talk about his views. Get me out, mate.
Welcome to Inside Stevie's Brain.
Between him, Jack Black, and the Pandas, this planet is really going downhill. And Britain, of course. I've always had a very strong desire to do all I can to help improve Russian-American relations, Russian Times cited Seagal as saying. I have worked tirelessly in this direction for many years unofficially, and I am now very grateful for the opportunity to do the same thing officially. For more than a decade, Seagal, who according to his own website is 66. Imagine having to say it that way. You can't even say he's 66. It's just according to his own website. We have no idea if it's true or not. Has been a regular visitor to Russia. His movies, including such titles as Under Siege and Sniper Special Ops. That's the drop-off in his fucking career. Like, I saw Under Siege. I'm just a cook. I'm the cook. I saw that. Fucking Sniper Special Ops. What is that? Please, like. So anyway, so there you go. Steven Seagal's going to save the world from American-Russian war. And my mother will be happy again.
With
It'll
front
just be
kicks.
it's just like Rocky all over again.
He's going to front kick.
I'm the cook.
Away the piece, man.
I'm the cook. There you go. UFC 126, Silva versus Belfort. Seagal was in Silva's corner and claimed he taught Anderson Silva the front kick.
As if Anderson Silva doesn't know what a front
I know, right?
kick.
I know.
What's that? You kick forward. Oh, yeah, I'll use that one, Steve.
Yeah. Listen, Anderson, have you ever thought about kicking in a forward direction? I see a lot of side kicks and lower kicks, but if you kick forward, like I did in the movie Under Siege, and also actually in Sniper Special Ops, coincidentally, you may be able to beat your opponent. Yeah, cheers for that, Steve. Yeah, yeah. Kick forwards, you say. Right. As opposed to backwards.
From my research, I found that in the face is the most weak area of the human.
I have done extensive research into human anatomy, and I found that if you can land the kick to the head, it will hurt them. Yeah, all right, Steve, got it, mate. Got it.
Mate, right
front kick to the head, got
the
it.
head, you see. Yeah, to the head.
The head, right, okay, got it. Yes, I'll be over here pretending to meditate, but really I'm thinking about burgers. He's a fat cunt now as well. Can we just say that? Like, I mean, seriously, I don't mind. I've let myself go down the years. I'm all right with it. I'm at peace with it. But like, the idea that he's trying to pretend he's still got any form of like tie to his athleticism, that's embarrassing. Please, like, can we just admit that? Can we? No, I guess not. More lies. So yeah, I think that's the show. I think we stretched it out at the end. We did it. We found some funny material.
Nice.
We're obviously going to get banned from Twitch because the term dwarf is now banned.
No, that's a medical term.
Well, I agree, but there's
it is.
No, I do agree.
No, but there is no agreement. Whoever lies, they're lying. It's written in books. I've read it. Dwarfism is the term. That's the medical term.
Is there anything we need to add at the end? Do we do sponsor plugs at the end?
Why not? Kind of fun.
I got another sponsor. We need to do a thing for them on the next show.
Right.
Yeah, it's a clothing company, if you can believe it.
All right.
I haven't told you about this. They basically okay. You sign up to the website, and they will create an outfit, like a look for you, and deliver it to your house.
Wasn't that on Shark Tank?
Maybe.
I think I saw that on Shark Tank.
Yeah. Well, they contacted me and said, like, do you want to just do one trial and see how it works out? And that was months ago. And I said, yeah, I will, mate. And I took the clothes, and they gave me some wicked, like, denim shorts that I wear, like, when I'm washing cars. Pour some sugar on me.
There's no way they actually sent you denim shorts.
Yeah, no,
how tight, how high up are they?
No, they're baggy.
Oh,
they're reasonable.
Like, are these fucking up to the arse?
Yeah, there's no...
denim shorts definitely would have been my first choice for Richard Lewis.
There's no like Admiral Akbar hanging out the back. You know what I mean? So I got that, and they sent me out. It was a pretty nice shirt. I've wore it once. It's a good. They were good quality clothes, actually.
Save this for when we do the plug.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. So we'll do the plug on the next show. And basically, if everybody goes and signs up, and it's like a referral code kind of deal, we get some money. So
that's the only way we get money.
Yeah, I mean,
that ain't ideal.
Yeah, well, but I took the clothes.
You took one. See, you took one set of free clothes. Fuck it.
I know I didn't consult you.
You've got all in on the sellout, mate. So now
as soon as they said, we'll send you some denim shorts.
Exactly, a sponsorship's worth a pair of denim shorts and a shirt.
I was
like,
Richard
Lewis,
like hot pants.
They've robbed, mate. Rivalry be fuming. Do you know how much rivalry have paid?
I couldn't say no.
Do you know how much rivalry you paid, mate? They're gonna be fuming.
Yeah,
they could have just bought 4 packs of fucking jean shorts.
Yeah. I probably should have told them.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. So we'll plug that in the next show. But yeah, I think we'll just get out now. Is there anything you want to add? Do you want to come back on cam for the end?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I will.
Getting dressed. Rocky.
He's gone. Stevie.
But yeah, man. So I think we'll kill it there. So obviously, look, I know there was a lot of donations and subs and stuff while we were doing the show. So apologies. Obviously, you had your little 15 minutes by being up on there. Do we play the noises, by the way?
Yeah, they are there.
We still play the noises.
Just
We should probably
pretty
turn them
quiet.
off. I don't know.
They're
Oh, but it's
very
super
quiet,
quiet. It's
yeah.
feed them to the pig zone. Feed them to the pig zone.
Yeah.
But thanks to everybody who does that, obviously, because, you know, even though we're sponsored, every little helps keep Sam in fucking edibles.
Almost out, actually, made it straight back.
And hopefully we're going to be back tomorrow with By the Numbers.
Yeah.
So if you're a CS fan, you'll enjoy that.
Same time.
Yeah.
11:30 CET.
Oh God.
10:30 PM.
I mean, I need to stop
UK
drinking
time.
now. I've already imbibed 2 beers and 2 whiskeys, which is enough to give me a hangover. I know I'm fucking old. The rise of the 2-day hangover.
What can you eat? What can you eat?
But yeah, so we may even do another show tomorrow. We've got a couple of videos coming in the YouTube channel as well, so go out and support those, and of course support our sponsor. Fuck me, mate. Can you not?
That was the headphone jack, to be fair.
That weren't, though, was it?
It was.
All right.
I nudged it.
Hey, can I end the show
Yeah,
without you muting me? And he's gonna do it now. Do you want to just play Total Africa or any other thing you put on the fucking soundboard over there? There we go. Right. So anyway, thanks to everybody who donated, subscribed, and everything else. And of course, if you really want to go and support the show, go to rivalry.gg using RLS. It's rivalry.gg/RLS. You can sign up using that code, and you end up to $350 in VIP bonuses. If you like betting on esports events, you're going to love Rivalry. And again, you know, check out some of the videos on responsible betting and how to maximize profits, but also in a responsible fashion. It's super cool. And then we have it. So we'll end the show there. Thanks very much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. And I'm going to go bless the rains in Africa and listen to this 108 times in solidarity for my brothers in Burger King. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.